And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token lefty. And together, we go through what's trending in the news. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to get along. And if we don't agree, you know what we do? Like regular human beings, we have a civil conversation. What a concept, right? Because never forget that common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, bro?
Good day, sir. How's she going today?
It's Friday. I'm on fucking fire today, bro.
Oh yeah.
I slept well. I only woke up once. I'm fucking fired up. I've already had some very interesting conversations on. I woke up to my ex with some very interesting conversations that I want to talk about today.
Okay.
And as I was getting prepared for this show, I also got somebody on LinkedIn kind of proving my point where lefties, like arguing and calling people names is not just a left thing. You can see that on the right. It's more of a left thing because it's been dominant for so long, which that's why the question at the bottom, I don't know if you saw it, but I'm asking the people out there if you think that the left, both in Canada and the US, are taking their voter base for idiots. Because it seems that they're very good at grasping at straws and people just repost what they're saying without really questioning it because their leaders are saying something. They're like, yeah, that has to be true. And I'm only saying the left because right now, with what we're going to talk about today, the SAVE Act, it's really the left that's going crazy. And what we wanted to talk about when it comes to Carney for the Canadian election, it's also from the left. But this is in no way, shape, or form saying that the right doesn't do the same, because clearly I'll show you a post that I made a couple of days ago, and the way one of the right answered it, it's the same. Change the name, the responses are exactly the same, and I can prove it to you today. And the guy from the right is worse than the guy from the left that just called me a troll this morning on his own post.
But yeah, I think.
Sorry, man, that was a long one. Sorry, man. I'm fucking tired.
Nah, brother, you're on fire today. I can tell.
I put. But
yeah, no, I agree with you,
bro. This is how much I feel like I have my plaid shirt.
When you got the lumberjack shirt on, you know,
you got to be worried.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be a wild one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good clarification. Political tribalism and just sort of mindless non-thinkers is a problem on both the left and the right. Even if right now it seems to be a little bit more on the left. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into it. It looks like we got a pretty good show. We got some excellent topics for you guys. Prairie, good day to you.
Hold on, before you take this, bro.
Yeah.
Look at the timestamp on Prairie's first message.
8:49. Yeah, it was before we went live. I didn't know she could do. They could do that. Prairie,
yeah, because I think it advertises it or something. It shows that there's a live that's coming. But man, Prairie, goddamn,
she even comes early. Yeah, she
comes early and
fan.
She's prepared.
Super fan for sure. Good morning to you, and Prairie.
Is that what you are? Prairie, are you what we call a super fan?
Super fan.
Because that's what marketing terms. It's like an early adopter or a super fan. But I
don't think she ever misses a show.
No, but I don't know if it's insulting to people to be called a super fan, because I've never been.
I certainly don't mean it that way.
But that's why I'm asking. Like, is it if we call you a super fan, because clearly you are. Yeah. You fit the definition.
Yeah. Prairie's always here, and then there's a good core handful of commenters that are posting pretty much every day, and that's really what makes the show sort of special and a lot of fun, I think, for both me and you. Cheryl, good morning to you as well. Hope you guys are both having a great Friday. Depending where you are, it's afternoon where I am, might be morning where you are.
Oh, and by the way, man, I found one joke for the end of the show. It's
one joke.
Again, all right. Probably my favorite. I love to, as a Christian, I love to make fun of Christians. The joke is, It's a dark one. Do you remember I told you the one
The
about
priest one? Yeah.
it's along those same lines. It's about it's about priests again.
Cool. Yeah, I love it.
Prairie's saying it's 11 a.m. That's true. She's in Saskatchewan, right? So that makes sense. That
Yep.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
Now, what's on the menu? A few things, actually. Quite a few things. Oh, Jesus.
Here's Joe.
No, but I love his comment.
Here.
Good job, bro.
Time is fluid here. Like gender, it's fluid.
Oh, Manitoba, that's true. Not Saskatchewan. I'm sorry, Prairie, but Joe, that's exactly what is hilarious about this.
Yeah.
Yep, time is fluid, and can you please stop referring it to it? It's they them.
Yeah. How bold of you to assume time's gender.
Yep.
But
glad to have you on, Joe. It's been a few days. I'm always looking
days.
forward to your arguments. Yep.
We had a Joe 2.0 yesterday on the show.
No, Joe's more polite than that guy.
Yeah.
But let's see if he comes back, because the other guy got a spanking. And is he gonna play Doug Ford, or is he gonna be back? Who knows? We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have on the menu today?
Yeah, let's dig into it.
We have to talk about Save Act 2025 because it's fucking hilarious. Like, it is absolutely hilarious. Then we don't have a choice to speak about the helicopter crash that happened on the Hudson yesterday, which I might have to put.
That's fucking wild, man.
Did you see the videos?
The rotor just fell off. Like, talk about new fear unlocked. Holy shit.
I was watching it this morning. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I actually grabbed my shirt. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Because I've never been on a helicopter trip like that, but I've taken Cessna trip. Like when I was in Peru, for example, we were over the Nazca lines. I don't know if you know what the Nazca lines are.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But you're on the super small Cessna. It's like, it's going. So you look at that video, I'm like, ooh. I guess the tape on the wings is a lot scarier.
Well, yeah. Maybe you shouldn't have used duct tape to keep the fucking rotor on or something, but
fuck. But yeah, we need to talk about this, but there might be a conspiracy theory
of course
behind it. No, but because of who the guy is, they don't talk in the media who the guy is.
Oh, yeah, you mean the tourists, the people who are in it. Yeah,
it's just a family, right? It's a family of 5+.
Yeah, tech bro or something, a big tech guy.
And when you start, I'm just going to show you his LinkedIn so you get an idea of who we're talking about. And then probably next week, I follow a lot of conspiracy theories, guys, so I'll see what they have to say. I might bring it up next week. But right now, it's too early. Nobody has the time to conspiratorize.
Yes,
conspiracize. I definitely want to talk about those two posts I was telling you about, the one I got on X and the one I got this morning on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Just to show you kind of the left does the same thing. And then I'm in a debate with one of the guys that follows the guy that called me a troll. Because the guy that called me a troll on LinkedIn has like 80,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have no clue who he is, but he posted something.
LinkedIn debate.
Which I don't. It's my first time I get a debate, because I get in debates every single fucking day everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
But I was posting on LinkedIn. It popped on my feed. I just responded to him because he literally reposted an AOC post like it's facts. I'm like, bro. But I just went, I think you know up to now, I'm a polite guy. Especially if I don't know you, I'm not going to dig into you. I'm just, you and I is a different story.
Of course.
2.5 hours every day. So, but a guy I don't know, I'm going to be super polite and I'm just going to try to have a conversation. But what's interesting is the guy from the original post calls me a troll, but then I'm having a really cool debate with one of his followers that's trying to defend why he's offended by the Save Act. Which is funny because I can show you two conversations that shouldn't be happening between the left, the right on my comments, two different comments, and then how it should be between a righty and a lefty. Because as much as I disagree with the latest guy that's joining the conversation, he's polite. Like, as much as I disagree, he's polite, and it's just the conversation is just, as Joe would say,
well, I mean, that's kind of what this
conversation.
Kind of, as Joe would say.
But that's how it should be.
And that's kind of what this show is, what we're trying to create. So it's, I'd like to hear about that. I actually wasn't too familiar with the Save Act until until just yesterday, and then when we talked earlier about talking about it today, I was like, well, fuck, I better do some research. But yeah, no, it's a good topic. It's I've definitely got some things to say about it, and we'll definitely dig into that. Cheryl says, was it a private helicopter? I think it was a privately owned.
It's a private company. Yep.
Tour company. Yep.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's one of those things that happens all the time. It's like a couple $100 to take the trip.
You get the tour of Manhattan
New York,
or whatever.
It's to see the New York skyline type of deal across, like you're just going around the Hudson. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like it's really messed up. Bro, when I saw the video, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Because I found a video. Most places are not showing the full video, but I found a video where they're showing the whole thing, and it's fucked up. Well, it's like, God damn, what the fuck just happened?
Look out the window. Oh shit, is that our rotor over there?
I shouldn't laugh. I can't laugh at this.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare scenario. And it just dropped like a stone too.
Oh, it's literally a helicopter without a rotor.
Yeah, it's just a yeah, I know. Shouldn't laugh, but yikes, that sucks.
Oh, I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, discomfort.
Because when I saw it this morning, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I don't get spooked by shit, but it's really the rotor detached and the plane
just completely fell off. And then, of course, the helicopter just completely dropped like a rock, obviously. Yeah, pretty scary stuff. Imagine being in there.
I would have jumped out. I would have... No, but you're supposed to.
If you had that kind, I feel like the drop though would probably pin you in your seat.
Time. Yeah. Plus, you wouldn't have time. Like Plus, are you gonna jump without your kids? Fuck you, kids.
Fuck you. I never wanted you anyway.
Consider this a divorce.
Yeah.
Ouch. I should not be laughing at this again. It's just, once again, I don't know how else to take it.
No, it's rough, man. It's rough. Cheryl says, kind of like the bush planes I used to take to go to Northern Ontario decades ago. Scary. Fortunately, none of those actually crashed. Yeah, I think a lot of those planes they seem scarier than they actually are. Oh, yeah. Kind of like when the fair comes to town and it's just this rickety, like, the zipper or the Ferris wheel, and you're looking down and there's a couple rusty bolts holding it together, and I don't know. It doesn't feel very safe. Maybe
they're rough too, right?
Oh yeah,
they're a lot rougher. Like they're not pleasant. Yeah. But my godfather was a doctor, and he died when I was pretty young, like I think sub 10 years old. I can't remember exactly, but he had 2 Cessnas. Like he had done extremely well for himself. Like he was my father's best friend.
Yep.
And he's taken us on those Cessnas, and he's a crazy person. Like he used to nosedive like this, and he would let my father pilot because he's right there, right? Christ, so I'm this does not bother me at all. I look at this, but this kind of spooked me when I saw it this morning. What the fuck is happening here? So
fucking rotors just fall off, like Jesus.
It's just, it did not look weird. It did not look real. Sorry.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I'm like, it's so out of context. My brain has never seen a helicopter with the rotor detached from it. This is what my brain, I think, could not comprehend. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
It's probably too much to ask, but in case there's anyone in the audience that has any familiarity with helicopters, like, is there just like a nut or a screw that holds the rotor on, and just Buddy forgot to put it on? There's a ground crew guy saying like, fuck, what was this nut for? Oh. And then here's on the news, oh shit. You'd almost it's hard to imagine it could even happen. You would have thought there'd be some like redundancy built into it to make sure that the fucking rotor can't come off. That's a pretty.
How long do you think it's going to take for Trump to blame a black woman? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I've actually heard people blaming Trump, which seems silly.
No, but it's his fault. Obviously, he's responsible for every single bolt on every single helicopter in the U.S.
Just like he's responsible for Yeah, it's just. That's obviously ridiculous. Anytime something like this happens, there's always people on the left and right who are quick to blame their pet villains, and it's a bit silly on both ends. But I'd really like to figure out what the fuck happened. Like, who forgot to screw the rotor cap on or whatever it is.
Who took it off on purpose because of the cargo?
Well, that's possible too.
And because when you start looking at, and I'm not saying that that's what happened, it's just there's a few people that posted comments on some of the videos that we're going to see today where they're like, oh, that guy did this. I'm not going to repeat what they said because I have no proof, but
the guy, the father who died, because I know he's like a tech business guy, like a tech
he
guy
works for Siemens. He's like he's like the
SIEMEN.
He's like the CEO of a massive. Wow. Oh no! The dude is not just another dude. He's like a CEO of a massive division of Siemens. And if you look in the news, they're not talking about.
Oh yes, I'm if you Google the Siemens,
that's my point. You have to look. Yeah, not Siemens.
Yeah, not the other way.
No, but that's the thing, right? They're not talking about it like it's a big deal. Bro is not just a regular dude here. No. Like he runs a massive division of Siemens, which is a massive fucking enterprise.
Massive company.
Oh, and they're worldwide, right? They're everywhere. Oh, yeah. So I'll just show you a few videos I found and his LinkedIn profile because I thought it was interesting just to put some context into it. Yeah. Now am I saying that I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that there's a conspiracy, but as a conspiracy guy, I can tell you that there might be. I don't know. I'll show the information and you guys can do whatever you want. And if I find something cool next week that explains it, I'll bring it up. And obviously we're going to talk about the Canadian election, right? We have to give an update. Mm-hmm. I believe that you have some good videos. I have a couple from Mr. Carney that I wanted to show because politicians lie, and I'm tired of politicians lying about guns in Canada. It really pisses me off. As a gun owner, it really pisses me off that they keep on lying and their base still believes what they're saying when it's completely untrue. It's not even true. So,
Joe's got an interesting point. Was Luigi Mangioni's brother a helicopter mechanic? No, you never know. It almost, if there is a conspiracy to be had, I feel like it should be in that sort of area. It would be interesting. Like, who knows? Maybe he does. Like, obviously, it's not his actual brother. Mario Mangione.
Oh, jeez.
But maybe someone with who knows, a similar mindset, and then sees the crew list, and now I actually don't think that what's happened, but if we're just going to play the conspiracy game for laughs, sure, why not? But what you're saying there about Carney, and I one of the videos I get, we might have had the same video. It's where he talks about guns, but I'd like to definitely like to discuss that a little bit.
I'll let you start on the election, and if you haven't shown the videos that I have, I'll show them. But yeah, man, you want to get started on this?
Yeah, let's do this at the Save Act.
So I got a few videos of this. Let me pop the first one. Which is my list saying? We are saying, before I play it, I just want to put this. The big contention right now between the left and the right on that bill is that vote fraud is not a big deal. And that if this bill actually passes, because it just passed the House, it's ended up in the Senate, it hasn't become law yet. But if it does, married women might lose their right to vote. This is what the two biggest contentions are from the left right now when it comes to the bill. Bill fraud, voter fraud's not a big deal. It's all bullshit is basically what they're saying. And if this passes, married women might not be able to vote anymore. This is the outrage right now. Okay, we're just gonna start there.
That's the way that they're trying to attack this. Yeah, so it's a good idea. We'll just sort of give some context in case the viewers aren't quite sure. The SAVE Act is a law trying to be introduced by Representative Chip Roy, and essentially it is a law that tries to force requirement of proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. to ensure the integrity of our elections. I'm just reading it from it here. It amends the national voter registration to require states to verify U.S. citizenship when registering an individual to vote in federal elections. It gives states the tools to remove non-citizens from their rolls, and it penalizes officials that knowingly register non-citizens. So that is what we're talking about. Essentially, it is a bill that is designed to make sure that only citizens can vote. And there is some controversy, some debate, and that's what we're going to talk about here. But that is the context of what this law actually is.
Good job. This is exactly what I was going to do. So I like that your brains at the same place. I wanted to have an explanation. So good for you, man. You're participating.
Sharp today. Yay, I helped.
Exactly. So I got
Ralph Wiggum. Yeah, I helped.
That's exactly what I had.
Yeah.
Yay. I got a few of them. I have about 4 different videos because like the first one is from a couple of months ago when they were first talking about this bill.
Yep.
The second, the next 2 ones is one is from MSNBC from 2 days ago. The other one is from a place called Straight Arrow News. I did not know them, but I just like the way they presented it. It sounded very, I don't know if they're lefties or righties, so I like the way they did it.
Okay.
And then I have a post from Miss in Chief AOC.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have my favorite reel of a senator trying to tell us how the world is ending and women will go back to the kitchen where they belong.
Won't be allowed to vote, and yes.
But the video is just like, oh, really? Is that shit really working? So, so let's start with the first one. This is from 2 months ago. It gives a pretty solid explanation as to what's the SAVE bill and also what's the SAVE Act, and what is required. What are the new requirements when it comes to voter ID? Because now the new videos are not debating it. They're not showing that part like it's too easy to obtain. So let's not focus on that part and let's be outraged together. So
So is this a left-leaning
social media about a bill?
They all are.
Everything
I post most of the time is the left. I'll post whoever is against what's going on. So right now it's the left that's pissed off, and everything I have to show is all from leftist media because they're mostly the ones talking about it, right? The right is talking about how offended the leftists about that bill. They're not talking about the bill. So here we go.
Posts on social media about a bill in Washington called the SAVE Act.
It is also known as the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act and would change voter registration laws in the country. Two on your sides, Kelly Dudzik joins us now to explain what's in it. Kelly.
Well, Claudine and Scott, this bill is in committee right now, and a lot of people who changed their names when they got married are sharing it because they're worried about what it could mean if they need to register or re-register to vote. So we looked into that.
The SAVE Act is short for the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It's a House bill sponsored by GOP Congressmember Chip Roy from Texas. Its purpose to ensure only U.S. citizens are registered to vote. In order to register or re-register, you would need documents beyond just a regular driver's license that prove you are a U.S. citizen. A passport, enhanced driver's license, a birth certificate, or another ID that you would need access to your birth certificate to get would all work.
If your identification is in a different last name because you're married, now you're going to have to get a certified marriage certificate. You're going to have to get other documentation to try to show that you were born in the U.S. or are a U.S. citizen.
And that's one of the main concerns showing up in social media posts.
If this were to pass...
Oh no, you have to get your marriage certificate out. Like it's really not that big of a deal, you know?
I made a post about this morning and I'll repeat it later on just to show the irony here. But basically, you're absolutely right. Up to now, if your birth certificate and your driver's license right now, or whatever license that you want to use, do not match, you need to explain why. How do you explain it? Marriage certificate.
Yeah.
Yet you're supposed to change your license with your new name after you get married. But unlike Canada, there's no limitation on the amount of time that you can wait. So you could literally go 20 years technically without ever changing it. So basically right now what we're hearing is that you can do all of that. If your birth certificate does not match your ID because you're lazy and you didn't, or you got married. So if your birth certificate does not match your IDs because you did the right thing and you changed your name after you got married, you updated your document, awesome. You needed your marriage certificate in order to do that change in the first place. So to change your ID from your birth name to your married name, you need a legal marriage certificate.
Your marriage certificate, exactly. And if you have those things, that will work for the ID for this.
100%.
So the only people it doesn't affect, the only people that you might need to actually bring your marriage certificate is the very small number of women who have been married but have not yet changed their IDs over. And almost everybody does it almost immediately.
Actually, no. Because if your birth certificate and your ID matches, even though because you never made the change, they're not going to question you. Because technically they're the same name. So the problem...
Oh, that's right.
So it's so ironic. When you look at it, the amount of people that are affected by this
very small.
are... You know what? Before I say anything, I just want to show you guys the outrage. Then we can break it down. It's fucking hilarious to me.
Okay.
This is a perfect subject for a Friday because it makes me happy to think that people. It makes me happy to think that people might be this stupid. I don't want to believe it, but it entertains me. Let's say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I had to do some research here, but it appears that it's really affecting a very few number of people. And even if you are one of those few people it affects, there is a clause in the law that still allows you to vote. And you basically, it just makes a note of this. And so then if you are lying, they can go back and see it. So it's a lot of much ado about nothing, I think. On the left, it certainly is not going to prohibit any married woman from voting in any tangible way. But it seems like a lot of pushback against something that seems pretty common sense. I think most people would say, well, yeah, I don't think
hold on. They have the numbers in there. In this video, they actually show you how many people are for this. And then you start looking at the outrage. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, cool.
All right, we'll continue. We'll see what they say.
In the current form, there would be some problems that some people are going to have, where they're going to have to do some legwork to prove that they were born in the U.S. So for people who change their name, often women taking their...
Sorry, do some legwork. You mean walk to the fucking kitchen drawer and pull out your marriage certificate? Yeah, it's a lot of legwork there.
Considering that 42% of Americans are obese. And 30%...
That's a lot of legwork.
It's exercise. Maybe instead of saying legwork, you should say exercise.
Yeah. It's funny how they're trying to make this very simple thing seem like it's like a massive like unscalable wall. No way can they get across this obstacle. You mean just get your fucking marriage certificate? Yes, that's what I mean. Fucking crazy. All right, we'll keep going.
Their husband's name after marriage, or someone who changes their name back to after they changed their name. They're going to have to go back and either get a passport or get proof that they changed their name.
Congressman Roy told Newsweek yesterday that the legislation, quote, directs states to establish a process for individuals to register to vote if there are discrepancies in their proof of citizenship documents due to something like a name change. But Cover still sees concerns.
Many people don't have their birth certificates, original birth certificates. They don't have a passport. And many people will just decide not to go vote, not to register, not to vote, because it's just going to be too much legwork. I mean, if you're an older person and you don't have family that's going to help you, it's going to be very difficult.
Okay, I got to stop this for a second.
No, but older people don't change their fucking names.
Yes, I know.
Like,
and
what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about?
This idea that most people don't have their birth certificates, that's nonsense. Most people do have their birth certificates. Most people have a drawer for important documents. And the few that don't because they lost them, well, they need those for lots of other things other than voting. So it's a great excuse to go out and get it done. And if you're not going to go get it done...
You need a birth certificate for your IDs. If you lose your ID, you need... Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah. Like, all these documents are necessary just to live in society. So to say like, and he's like, oh, well, they just won't vote. Well, if that's what stops them from voting, it's probably best that they don't vote anyways.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
they obviously don't give a shit about
I
anything.
appreciate it.
So yeah, all right, let's keep going.
No, but that's the end. That's basically the end of the
okay.
video. So you stopped it at a good place, but I got another one, and I'll share the statistics just in case it was at the end of that one. But as per research, 83% of Americans agreed that something needed to be done in order to show ID when voting. 83% of the people that were polled actually agreed that something needed to be done. So what the fuck's the outrage?
Yeah, I agree. It's like the Democrats, classic Dems, right? Taking the 20% of another 80-20 issue again. Cheryl says maybe people who are there illegally don't have those documents, and that's of course exactly correct. So it just, to me, it's the, for every law you have to, there's always going to be some unintended consequence or some downside. You have to weigh the good with the bad. And for me, if it's okay, the positive, you're preventing millions of people from being able to vote who should not be because they're not citizens. And on the other hand, like if like a literal handful of people don't get to vote because they're too lazy they've lost their IDs and they're not interested enough to go and get a new ID, that's not really a very big downside. Like I don't see that as a major problem. The positive effects of the law far outweigh any negative effects in that regard.
You want to see, here's one from MSNBC. So the one we just showed was from a few months ago.
Okay.
From 2 months ago when the bill really started getting some attention because it was going to be presented to the House. This one is from 2 days ago, and we have a rep from New York. Fucking hilarious. Like, if you think this guy was bad that we just saw, this dude's even worse. It is. Oh, bro, you understand why?
Should I go get my pearls so I can clutch them as I'm listening?
Yes, but notice how the guy is so offended. His eyes are cross-eyed. Like I couldn't stop. Like he's looking at the camera like this. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at this, but this is fucking hilarious. So here's MSNBC 2 days ago.
Act would require people signing up to vote to present documents proving citizenship. House lawmakers passed this bill last July, but it didn't go any further. Now, the Republican-led House is hoping it will have more success in a Republican-led Senate. Supporters of the bill say requiring voters to show citizenship documents is necessary to protect election integrity.
How dare you!
No evidence of mass amounts of illegal voting by non-citizens, a central focus of this bill when it was first announced. Critics say the measure would hurt voter participation. Joining us.
Of course they would.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
That's the whole point.
We're gonna voter participation among non-citizens will go way down. Yes, that is the point. I like how they keep saying, despite no evidence of that's because Democrats have done everything they can to prevent any investigations into this. They have essentially made a lot of the laws, like, yes, they'll say things like it's already illegal for non-citizens to vote. Yes, it is. However, Democrats have very intentionally done things that make enforcing that law almost impossible. So there's just no way. So it's a really disingenuous game that they're playing here. When they so for example, the NVRA, which is the National Voting Registration Act, it effectively stopped states from checking citizenship during registration. They've deemed it racist to ask people to ask them their citizenship. So they do this on the one hand, where like they make it impossible to enforce that law or to check your citizenship, and then on the other hand say there's no evidence of non-citizens voting. Well, yes, of course, because you've made it impossible to find that evidence, and people aren't stupid and they know this is going on. There's a reason why the Democrats have been so insane with their immigration policies lately, and it is because they believe that it's votes for them. They believe that if they give illegal immigrants free shit, they will continue to vote for them. And on some level, they're probably right. But I think, what's funny is a lot of Latin Americans are actually conservative or right-wing by nature.
Oh, yes.
And I think a lot of them, once they get here, they're probably like, oh my God, they're probably smart enough to realize there's no way this is sustainable. There's no way they can keep doing this. We got to vote these idiots out. Now that I'm here, let's close the door behind us. I bet you that's probably not an uncommon thought. But
what's funny is that one of the debates I'm going to show you later on between like a post that I commented on, the guy is saying that all the research shows that I always love when people say that all the research or the research,
the science, right? The science is settled.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So the research shows that voter fraud is extremely low. I'm like, you know what? Okay, please prove to me that this is indeed the case, because you can't prove to me that this is correct. But how about Doge investigates voter fraud? Because remember what happened during the Social Security analysis, where we had more than 20 million people registered over the age of 100 to receive Social Security. We had people 150 years old when there's only 89,000 Americans above the age of 100, yet 20 millions of them were receiving it. So that's what I posted to the guy. I'm curious to see if he responded to this, but can you really claim to me that there's no voter fraud when there's more than 20 million people that are collecting Social Security as per Elon Musk, when we have 90,000 Americans above the age of 100? So you're talking, there's something wrong here. And if you can have almost 20 million people collecting money, that's fraud. Is it that easy? Is it that hard to believe that the same thing could be happening, that the same people that receive Social Security illegally could potentially be voting illegally too? Like, is that big of a bridge to gap? Like, really?
Well, yeah, and technically, I think this is what you're saying. If those people did vote, it wouldn't be technically illegal, right? Because they obviously have some form of like paper ID. Like, it would be illegal in the actual effect, but like whoever, like they would have had to generate some official documents in order to get that fraud. So if that person goes there and votes, it will show up as legal, right? Even though it's illegal, because if we assume that we understand that person's not really who they say they are, if you go back and check it, it will look completely valid. So I mean, that's a good point too.
And I'd like to see how many of those people that you're mentioning right now voted by mail, because this is another thing that you're going to see in this video, because one of the loopholes that they're trying to, this would prevent mail voting, because not mail as in men, mail as in M-A-I-L. Yeah. You would not be able to do it remotely because you need to prove ID.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
So
right? Let's say you're running a pretty good scam. Let's say you're running let's say you're running a pretty good Social Security scam.
Put your hat on, bro. Put your hat on.
Oh yeah.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
You gotta put a
let's
nice
say you're
shirt,
running
by the way, bro. Sorry, nice shirt.
Oh yes,
I like it. I like it. I like this.
Marty, we gotta go to the past.
Good. Yes, we do.
No, but let's say you're running a pretty good scam, right? You've got 100 fake IDs that have got you X amount of, because I feel like that's such a widespread scam. There's got to be, it's not just random people who have discovered it. It's probably a couple people running like a giant scam, right? That have figured this loophole out that enabled them to do that. So now you've got IDs of hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And all you need to do is go to the whatever local politician and say, hey, bud, I can get you 2,000 mail-in votes, and they're going to look legal and they're going to be completely legit, because there's documentation for all these people. As far as the U.S. government is concerned, these people exist. So even if they go back and check, it's going to show up. That's not that crazy. That's like you could imagine that happening. And even if it's not, it's plausible enough to justify the investigations and laws like this. So of course, not saying that is what's going on, but it to me, it strikes me as certainly within the realm of possibility. And that's just, and there's kind of two separate things here. As you said, Cheryl, yeah, we realized early on in the show,
I'll put mine on in the next one.
Nico sleeps in his. Nico actually needs his to stop the 5G.
Actually, I should get it tattooed. On.
But then, so yeah, on the one hand, you've got, a large number of what we know to be fake IDs and fake identities, and that's a potential form of fraud. But then you've got this other idea here where, with this NVRA, the National Voter Registration Act, which in practice makes it essentially illegal, or not, if not illegal, at least it prevents voter registration officials from asking the citizenship of people voting. So you can't even enforce the law. So when they say research shows there's no illegals voting, well, that's because the laws prevent the research from occurring. So that doesn't mean that there's millions of non-citizens voting. It means we don't know. And again, if we don't know, then a law like the SAVE Act is entirely appropriate.
Damn, Cheryl's giving us business ideas. We should sell a political orphan hat.
Yeah.
The tinfoil hat. Nice. I'd buy that too.
Joe Strums, for fuck's sakes, you got me so heated. My proofreader fled the country. Oh, we got Joe. We got Joe heated. Joe,
this is my favorite thing to do. Huh?
Yeah,
if I had to choose one thing with all of the content that I create, if I can get lefties mad because they're looking at their own side of the argument and they're like, "Are you guys fucking retarded? What the fuck is wrong with you people?"
And now
I'm doing my job right.
I'm going to extend an olive branch here, Joe. I actually, like I said, I've only done a pretty deep dive into this in the last 12 hours. So, let us know what we got wrong, in your opinion. And
shit, that's how you see it? I thought he was agreeing with us, saying that for fuck's sakes, what's going on with my own party?
Oh, yeah. Maybe just clarify that, Joe. I didn't know if we got him heated because we thinks we're wrong, or maybe your French accent has got him a little
oh, hello.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the hair.
Hair, bro. Did you do something different with your facial hair? Did you shave something?
I trim it all the time, man.
You always do. Yeah.
One day you'll see that I'm gonna have a massive fucking mustache, then I'm gonna shave it. Then
that'd be a great one. Fucking.
Oh, bro, it's just that it drives my wife completely ballistic because she met me like this, right? Just with a douchey beard.
Yeah.
So every time I let it grow, she's like, "You look so old." I chopped this off. I look like I'm in my 30s, and I'm almost like I'm 43.
Well, I have a ridiculous baby face. I shaved my beard,
and you have blue eyes on top of it.
Like 3 or 4 years ago, and I look like a 40-year-old baby. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I shaved it a couple years ago just to see what it was like. I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing that again.
Bro, we need to talk because even Tony's saying he'd get one. We should, you know what? Let's talk after the show because I think we're onto something.
Political orphan hat.
Oh, fuck you, Joe. Shades of
Pepe Le Pew. that rapist skunk.
Is that what I am to you?
They canceled him during Me Too. I mean, he deserved it though. Well, he was a creep. Hey,
Joe, if those are your real hair, fuck you.
Oh, okay. So Joe is agreeing with us. Oh, I know, Joe, with your flowing locks.
You know, if I had hair like this, I would just I would install fans just so
just constantly to blow it. Yeah.
Just so I could do this.
In a hair commercial. Yeah.
But see, this is funny because I understood that Joe was like,
okay, I understand
what's going on. You right away, you're such a complainer. Right away, you went, Joe, why do you disagree with me? See?
Yeah.
There you go.
No, so Joe's on our we're all on the same page.
You want to continue this video before we go?
Yeah,
or do we? Because goddamn, at this rhythm, we'll play 10-minute video. We'll be done.
Yeah. All right. All right.
You ready to go?
Yeah,
go.
Let's do this.
As now Democratic Congressman Joe Morelli of New York. He's the ranking member of the Committee on House Administration, which is charged with oversight of federal elections.
No, hold on,
so
it gets
Congressman,
worse.
let's just start broadly. What are your concerns with the SAVE Act?
Well, I think, as you said, the supposed suggestion that non-citizens are voting in federal elections is just a fallacy. There's virtually no evidence that happens. If it does, it's a handful of people across the entire country. But what it does is put these huge bureaucratic burdens in front of people simply who want to register to vote and exercise their rights as American citizens to vote.
I do.
I see the arm move.
You saw the thing of it. Huge.
I just saw your arm move, like your arm's going like this. I'm like,
fucking time out. Fucking huge.
Yeah, another 10-minute rant for 30 seconds.
No, it won't. It'll be short, but huge bureaucratic burdens. brother. Fucking walk into your closet where most people store their important documents, and plucking out your marriage certificate is not a huge bureaucratic burden. And if you don't have any of those documents, you need them anyways. Fucking go get them.
But wait, it gets worse because he starts making excuses later on. But look at what Joe just wrote.
He's always got an eye on the prize. He's got his eye on first prize and second prize at the same time.
You guys are as much assholes as I am. I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. This is why we have the greatest audience.
Like even right now, he looks like he's looking at me with one eye, and he's looking straight ahead at the other one.
This is awesome.
He's got his eye on you. And you.
He always does. Jesus. It's definitely Friday, Joe. It's funny. I was just going to say that this is the type of Friday I like.
Yeah, Joe's always instrumental in our lighthearted Fridays. He's always
it's the hair. It's probably the hair.
Yeah. You know.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's keep
American
going.
Elections. So it's particularly vulnerable
because it gets worse, bro. It
military
gets worse.
Personnel who are overseas and can't appear in their local board of elections personally. Mail-in registration will be gone.
It's
a
about
woman who has
military
changed her
now.
name, and 84% of married women in the United States have their husband's names. That's different than the name that might appear on their birth certificate. So they'll have to have a passport. But 150 million Americans don't have a passport.
No.
It's 130.
It's called a marriage certificate, you fucking idiot.
Well, and there's something that I only heard. So you might hear them say real ID, REAL ID. Yep. That's an actual, and it's all capitalized. It's a specific type of ID that I believe you can use that. If you're married and you've changed your name, you can use either your real ID, your passport, or any government issued identification with place of birth. So almost everyone is going to have this anyways. It's not new.
54% of, so basically the real ID is an ID that is given by your state. Okay. And 54% of IDs that are now being released
are this
by the state are the real ID. So if you have a real ID, that means that, let's say, your driver's license will have your citizenship on it, which right now it doesn't. So and if you don't have a real ID, you can show your birth certificate and your regular ID. If they do not match because you got married, as they're talking about, you just need your marriage certificate.
Go to the DMV, get it put on.
Like I said before, in order for you to update your driver's license to your new name, you needed to have your fucking marriage certificate in the first place. And in most states, in order to get a fucking marriage certificate, you need to show your birth certificate. Like, it's
fucking pretty soon you're throwing books around, fucking tearing the bookcase down.
I've ripped my shirt and I'm green underneath it. Fuck!
Fucking Hulk smash. No, I know it's pretty stupid, right? Like it's ridiculous. Like, look at what we're talking about here. You're talking about actually like ensuring integrity of elections. But we can't inconvenience anyone like the slightest amount. Like if it's okay to inconvenience people a very tiny amount if the result is fair elections. And as they say, well, when people say, oh, well, there's no evidence of illegals voting. Okay, on the one hand, there are laws that make it impossible to enforce that. But on the other, if that's the case, then there's no harm in passing the law either. Right? Like it's just such an obvious pro-con calculation. It's all politics, of course. None of these are real concerns. No. But let's hear this fucking one-eyed wonder here, and let's let him keep going.
$30 at least to get one. So you think about it, these are really just barriers to registering, which means that's a barrier to vote.
Yeah, I was really struck by a Brennan Center statistic that said about 21 million people don't readily have access or have available their basic proof of citizenship, and that is disproportionately affecting communities of color. You talk about the barriers now being presented for women voters.
There's
potentially.
The identity politics.
Doesn't specifically,
because everyone knows Black and brown people, they don't have the money to get IDs. Like
21 million. That is like 8% of American.
Yeah, that's right.
For like 350 million off the top of my head is going to be less than 10%, obviously. So maybe 8%.
How many Americans are there?
About 350.
Is there 400 Americans or 400 million?
No, that's 40
million?
million 350, give or take. I'll check right now, but it's 40 million Canadian and about 350 million Americans.
Okay, so that's 16% of the total. I mean, so a better way of saying that is 84% do have access to, you know what I mean? Like, and if you don't have access to those documents, you probably need them anyways.
That can't be 16, bro. It's 21 million out of 347. So you're looking at maybe 8%, 7%.
Hang on.
It's less than 10, right?
Did I do the math wrong?
Obviously.
21. Yeah, you're right. Because 21
it should be
would
7-ish, 7 or 8.
Yeah, 8%.
So
92%. 92% do have access. So that sounds a little bit different when you frame it that way. And of course
it does. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They know if they said 92% if they admitted that 83% of Americans agreed with this and 92% of Americans have all the documentation needed to actually do this, it's nonsensical. Right then and there, it's like, oh, well, let's forget about it because it's only 8% of people that are actually impacted by this. And if they don't have it, maybe they fucking should.
They need it, right? These are important documents, right? And if you're so lazy that you don't have those documents and you're not interested going to get them, then again, we probably don't want you voting. Like, you're probably not the kind of person that we want to vote.
Continue the video, because if you think you're pissed off right now, wait till cross-eyed guys continues like trying to make a point by referring to his own personal life. Oh, bro.
I'll just take Cheryl's question here. She says, the sad thing is people who watch these reporters and believe whatever they say and not question it. Yeah, I think that's a big problem, or a big part of kind of where we're at in this sort of low information age right now. I don't like mainstream media has a place for sure. You should factor in what they're saying, but people who only get their news sources from mainstream media are really, really exposed to biases, especially because those types of people also will immediately believe everything they see. They'll just listen to this framing and they never question anything. And that's a generational thing. And that I think explains some of the generational polling that we're seeing in some of the we've discussed on the show. But let's get back to this cross-eyed feller here. see if he can keep his eye on the prize, as Joe would say.
Make allowances for women who would change their name through marriage.
That's correct. If you listen to the Republicans, they'll say, well, marriage license will probably be okay. Probably. I mean, it seems to me that you would have thought of that and actually written it into the bill.
Or now that they've reintroduced the bill, you had time to re-amend it.
Oh, right. This bill has been around for a very long time, and it's consistent with the executive order that the president issued last week, which are, again, just barriers to voting. And this is what happens if you're trying to destabilize democracy. You do three
There we go. No.
Make it difficult for the free press to operate, which they're doing. You try to undercut an independent judiciary, which they're doing. And you try to make it harder for people to vote in free and fair elections, which they're also doing. These are the elements of moving towards a more authoritarian government.
Okay, let's.
You're attacking. No, you're attacking.
You go ahead.
Democracy.
You take this first.
He said they're attacking democracy. Okay, sure. By preventing illegal people from voting. Cool story. Then he's saying that they're going after free press. Name me one single time they went after free press. I can show you hundreds, if not thousands of times the Harris-Biden government went after free press. Don't give me this shit like fuck off. Like, no, wrong. Stop lying. And this guy is a fucking elected member of the House. Like, he's a rep. That dude's a fucking rep for New York. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Cross-eyed Wonder here? That should be his name. Cross-eyed Wonder.
Yeah.
Cross-eyed Wonder here is actually elected to represent Americans, and he is talking shit and he's fucking inventing shit that is not even true. He's absolutely lying on MSNBC, and the girl I cross her him is like, yep. I'm offended. Can you imagine the brown people and the women? Can you imagine?
You got to throw that in, right? You got to find some way to make this about, black and brown people, because if not, the mindless left, they don't know what to think unless they have their cues, right? Once they hear, oh, this disproportionately affects black and brown people, now they know what to think. Now they know
I have
what
to
to
be
oppose.
offended.
Yeah. Oh shit. Now it's very important that we oppose this. And like you said, like, listen, I'm not any sort of fan of Donald Trump. I don't like the guy. I think he's an idiot. However, like, to say that he's been like attacking the free press, like, does he say lots of things about art stories that he doesn't like? Of course he does, just like everyone does. But that's not attacking the free press in the way that he means it. What he means it is like government actually taking action, which is be like jailing reporters, which would be calling editorial boards or editors and saying, do not run this story or run that story. Like, that's what attacking the free press means, the way that he means it. But he's just taking Donald Trump, who is famous for saying, he doesn't like media, as an example of him using the government to go after media. And that is just two completely different things. But when you see that framing there, you do see why, people of a certain generation are freaked the fuck out. Why my parents, for example, I need to explain that, no, Donald Trump's probably not actually going to take over, not going to become a dictator. They actually believe it. They really think that that's going to happen.
And yet do your parents realize that in Canada during COVID, our government was tyrannical, took my rights away because I refused to take a certain medicine, and I lost my job. I lost my job. And it wasn't a job, it was a career. It's a 20-year career where I was making multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars every year that I invested all of my time in. They took that away. They took my rights to go everywhere. During COVID, I could go to the grocery store and the pharmacy. That's it. I was not allowed to go anywhere else. I couldn't travel. I couldn't go to public
even when you were there, you had to follow the arrows. You could only go down the right aisles.
But this is the part that makes me laugh. During convoy, I was there. There was nothing violent about the convoy, yet they froze bank accounts of people that gave money to the convoy. So, people are fucking hilarious to say, oh, he's going to become a tyrant. Look at your fucking government. They were tyrannical during COVID, and everybody's like, oh, well, you know what? It's okay. It was an emergency.
It's the good kind of tyrannical, right? Oh, that's good tyranny.
Because it represents your values. But when you have somebody that challenges your values, now you're like, oh, tyrannical, that guy's going to become a dictator. You already have a dictator in the Liberal Party right here in Canada. You really don't have to look far.
Well,
you have an unelected prime minister right now.
And it's funny because one of the videos that I want to talk about is just very briefly. He was asked about Carney was asked about a story in the Globe and Mail, and he was like, "Well, you can't believe everything you see in the Globe and Mail." And it's like, but will they say he's attacking the free press? Of course, they won't frame it like that. But that's exactly all Donald Trump does. Is he'll say, I don't agree with this story, but that's his right. He's not using the government's power to go after the journalists. No. That would be an attack on the free press. It's just
and pushed it even further than that. People are going to complain because Trump is trying to defund NPR. He's trying to defund any papers or any news media that's getting money from the government that is unbiased, like NPR. Yet, look at CBC in Canada that is getting funded by the Liberal Party at a rate of $1.4 billion every year. And Carney and his Liberal Party has said that they want to increase it. I've seen numbers up to double. Instead of giving them $1.4 billion, they want to give them $2.8 billion. So tell me, who's the tyrant here? Who's the dictator here? Is it really the bad orange man across the border? Or is it right here, the Liberal Party that is taking our rights away, that have been doing so for years now? This is the hypocrisy that blows my mind. Why is it so easy for Canadians to look at America and say they're tyrants over there, but it's so hard for them to just look at our own leaders right here? that took our rights away, that's been doing it for years, that is literally turned the CBC that you and I both grew up in watching the cartoons on Saturday into a propaganda machine for the Liberal Party, and we think it's okay. Like, it blows my fucking mind. What is it going to take? Like a shovel in the face is what it needs for you to wake the fuck up? No, but seriously. This drives me absolutely ballistic. Like, what the fuck is it going to take?
I think just a major flaw in the left's thinking is this idea that, like, they don't see their opinions as opinions. They see them as universal truths, right? Like, just unquestionable facts. And therefore, if something is being done in further of their opinions, then it is by nature good, even if it's tyrannical in and of itself. It's the good kind of tyranny, and so they wouldn't even see it as tyranny. And it's just like how they do with identity politics when they a lot of DEI, which is just literally racism against it's just racism against white people, which is the okay kind of racism. It's okay to discriminate against race if you're doing it against the right race, and all of that nonsense. That entire way of thinking needs to hit the fucking bricks. And again, I feel like I regularly will say this just in case people are new listeners. I am a liberal. I'm on the left. But we need to clear out our house. We need to clean our house out, because these ways of thinking that have become ingrained on the left, they're wrong. B, they're counterproductive. They actually hurt the causes that we care about. And C, all they do is especially now that there's this backlash, this shift, this culture shift, all they're going to do is ensure that right-wing politicians continue to get elected. And regardless, like, if you are on the left, you should want your policies passed, but you can't do that if they're so fucking stupid and batshit crazy that every normal, sane, moderate centrists, and even a lot of moderate lefties like myself are saying, I can't vote for these people right now. So, I mean, we really need to. So I'm going a little bit down a rant of a rabbit hole, but like a lot of it is just the problems with the thinking on the left. And the guy, the fucking BDI Shifty here, he's a great example of it.
No, but before you take Cheryl's comment, let's finish the video.
Yeah.
And because I want to see a reaction, because I told you this morning that this was great, because I know
it gets worse, does it?
Yeah, it does actually.
Oh,
it will get worse because it becomes personal to him, and that should be, the people that voted for him should be really questioning their choices after this video. So if you voted for this, for how did I call it? How did I call him earlier? Cross-eyed wonder.
Yeah.
If you voted for this guy, Jesus.
But here's the reality, because a Gallup poll from October of last
year
showed that
bro.
83% of people agree with requiring people who are registering.
Hold on.
This is the actual reality.
This is actually. No, it's actually the reality.
October of last year showed that 83% of people agree with requiring people who are registering to vote for the first time to show proof of citizenship. So what would you say to the people who say, I don't know, this bill kind of sounds like it might be a good idea?
I think it's one of these things that may sound good to a person until they're shuffling around trying to find their passport, if they have one, their birth certificate, if they can find it, if they can locate it. I went.
No, let it play. No, don't stop it, because it gets worse. Let it play.
All right.
It gets worse. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
All right.
For my real ID a couple weeks ago, we have to do this.
Yep, that deadline.
I inadvertently forgot my Social Security cards, and now I can't find them. And I'm incredibly organized. My wife can tell you I have folders on everything. I can't.
What's
find
election integrity if you have to look around for 2 minutes?
But think about it. I have to get a real ID. I will go through the process. I will pay the money to get whatever duplicate documents I need. And I will go back and get my real ID. But if you're registering to vote and you have to do this and you've forgotten something at your local board of elections, because you can't register by mail.
I don't want that woman voting.
Forget about voting by mail. You want to be able to register.
I don't want her voting.
People will simply say, and I think this is the point, yeah, this is too much. I'd love to vote, but I don't know where my things are, and I don't have a passport. So,
This is too much for me to vote. I don't know where my things are, so I'm not gonna vote. This is not a fucking redneck living in a trailer down in Alabama. We're talking about a sitting rep for New York that is telling his voters that you're so fucking stupid that I don't think that you're capable of finding your papers.
Wow.
And you know what, women out there, you're too fucking dumb to vote because you can't keep track of paperwork. That's basically what the Democratic Party is telling you right now. How insane is this? Like, seriously?
Like what he said, he's like, well, yeah, sure, it sounds good to not have a legal, nonsense vote, but then once you start to go to the trouble of looking for brother, like, this is real life. We're all adults. You need to sacrifice some things sometimes, and if it takes a little bit, a very tiny bit of inconvenience in order to secure the integrity of elections that 83% of the public want, that's what you fucking do. It's not a hard. It's not, man. Like, the left would be so much more effective if you pick and choose your battles. Things that make sense like this, go along with it. Sure. Yeah, we agree. Well, I guess we know why the Democrats don't like this, because
Tony G's mentioning it right now. Like, if you look at his comment, in my opinion, he's bang on.
Yeah, Tony says, I still can't fathom why you would let a single person vote without ID. These people are so corrupt. They're really, like, they're spinning around in circles trying to explain to us something that they're basically all trying to, like, explain to us that the sky is actually orange and not blue, when everyone else is just like, no, brother, it's blue. Like, we all agree on this, and this isn't a controversial take. Oh my God, no, she didn't. She did not say that.
Of course she did.
Disenfranchise 70 million American women. Holy shit. Do you really think so little of women that you think they wouldn't just go and get their marriage certificate?
So AOC said, for the people listening to this, House Republicans just passed a bill that would disenfranchise 70 million married American women. Under the SAVE Act, women who took their spouse's last name and don't have an updated passport or birth certificate would be turned away at the polls. Now, I want to point something out, that you do not update your birth certificate when you get married. You don't. It stays the same. You cannot update your fucking birth certificate with your married name.
Yeah,
it's not the name under which
if you haven't updated it yet, you'll be fine.
No, but you can't. You cannot update. So what, your birth certificate in Canada?
Yeah.
My wife didn't update it if she changes her name. It's her birth certificate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
So even what she's saying on there is lies. It's not even real. So at least if she said that your marriage certificate or your ID, okay, sure, because it needs to be updated. But you don't update your birth certificate after you get married. It's the name under which you were born. That's your parents' name. So she can't even be offended by the real stuff. So she needs to make shit up in order to make it sound like it's the end of the world. Women don't deserve to vote. They need to be strapped to the oven as they should, right? This is almost what she's saying. The bartender is telling us that women will go back to the kitchen
rather than dig out their marriage certificate. Like, come the fuck on.
I don't know which one is worse. Trying to claim that women are going to go back to the kitchen by not being able to vote anymore, or to call them so fucking stupid that they can't even keep track of their own certificates. I don't know which one is worse. Like, I don't know. However you look at it, they're literally calling their own voters a bunch of fucking morons. That's basically what they're telling us.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Absolutely insane.
So here, this is something I found pretty interesting. So this is a sort of a.
I know where you got that from. That's from the Liptards. I shared this morning. Too.
Yeah. So it's got all the popular arguments against it. For example, the SAVE Act would require everyone to have a passport. Blah blah blah. And that here's the one I was looking for. So myth: the SAVE Act would prohibit married women or anyone who has changed their name from voting. This is fake news. Under the SAVE Act, those individuals, i.e. most, who have updated their documentary proof of citizenship, which includes things like a real ID, passport, or government-issued ID, no action is needed at all, and they can register to vote. For the very small fraction of individuals who have not yet updated their documentation to reflect a name change, which most do anyways, just for regular life purposes, the SAVE Act explicitly directs states to establish a process for them to register to vote irrespective of those discrepancies. It basically just puts a special mark on it. So now you can go back, and if they are lying and they're not, you can prove it, but they're still able to register. Like other areas of the law, citizens will be able to use combinations of existing identification documents, certificates of birth from the state, and other similar documentation to demonstrate citizenship. No one will be left unable to vote or unable to register to vote due to a name change. So it's just cynical the way that the Democrats are doing this. Like, if you've got a real objection, then let's hear it. The fact of the matter is they don't have a real objection because this is a clearly popular. It's a popular law. It's a popular position. And so the Dems can't attack it on the merit. So they have to invent things like it's going to disenfranchise 70 million married women. Come the fuck on.
But hold on. Keep that thought right there, because this is the post that I post, which I barely post on LinkedIn, but this morning this popped. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going to answer this guy. Okay. So it's for everything you're saying is what he's saying. So he's basically regurgitating everything the news is saying. Like, you got to be pissed off, the SAVE Act, basically, your driver's license won't be enough to vote anymore. Incorrect. As outlined, blah, 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 a passport, which will cost $130. And did you know that half of something like 149 million Americans don't have a passport? That kind of blows my mind. But to say that he's basically saying that because half of Americans don't have a passport, you're not going to be able to vote. And of course, nearly 70 million married women. It's 68 million if you want to be exact, as per Pew Pew, after the Pew Pew research. But the guy just goes on and repeats everything the left is saying. And as proof, he posts, this is where I got the post from our super friend AOC. So he literally posted this. So when I saw this, and it's interesting because I'm becoming the most relevant person on his post, and we're talking at a guy that has about 80,000 followers on LinkedIn. So all I said is not true. Please do some research before posting your lies. So I just enumerated what we've been talking about. His answer to me, there aren't lies, Mr. Host of Unwoken. So of course he has to be condescending. And then facts, capital facts, Republicans are banking on the fact that these needless hurdles prevent them from losing elections.
But they're not needless. They're needed.
No. But hold on. I'm like, please provide proof of your claims if they aren't lies. That what you call facts, please, the burden of proof is on you. If you make claims, you're supposed to prove. So my answer to him is to provide his claims. And then I say, are you providing your opinion? You are providing your opinion like it is fact, yet your only proof is to repost AOC. There's his answer. Brilliant answer right there.
I'm not here
to debate trolls. Take it to X. I'm like, was I trolling him?
Well, I mean, that's one of the main sort of principles behind debate is if the one who's making the claim, it's their responsibility to defend it or to provide. You hear that all the time. Oh, I'm not doing your research for you. Well, that's
it's your claim. That's the burden. That's the burden of proof.
Then
but what's interesting is that on one side you have that guy that calls me a troll, and then I responded to him just saying thanks for proving my point. Instead of providing proof that would substantiate your claim, you call me a troll. Who's really the troll here? Question mark. But then there's a guy right here, Keith Finger, that I actually started to have a debate with. Like he's polite. We're in disagreement. He throws some of his comments. I throw some of mine. And then I go to what I was saying earlier. Because he's basically saying that my point is that non-voting citizen is very rare. This is a solution looking for a problem. And I'm like, I quoted, the Doge saying, if there's 20 million people receiving Social Security, is it that far off to say that there might be a lot of voter fraud that we don't know about? And obviously he never responded to me. But what's interesting is that out of all of this, which again, I never post on LinkedIn. I never post on other people's shit on LinkedIn. There's a CEO of a major corporation in the US. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to put him in trouble. That texted me over this. And he's like, hey man, he's like, by the way, good job on responding to him. Cause he used to be very common sense. The guy that made the original post, I don't know who he is. Perry Hedrick. He's a founder of Crackle PR. So he's a PR guy, but he's like, this guy used to be very common sense type of guy. And now he's just become this just this Democrat, liberal tier guy. Like,
just swallowing.
But it's just
dogma.
interesting to see guys that I don't know that contacts me on the site to say, hey, thanks, man. Like, thanks for standing up to this guy, because I didn't attack him personally, calling him names. I'm just, what you're saying are lies. This is why they're lies. And if you don't think that they're lies, prove to me that I'm wrong, because you're making the claim. It's on you, bro.
Well,
and you call me a troll. It's like, really?
And this is what the left is doing here. They don't really have any real arguments, and so they're just sort of repeating each other's lies. I think a lot of these big accounts, honestly, especially if they start to go like a hard left turn and they just start agreeing, a lot of them are just getting paid to do so, right? Like that was clearly a big strategy for Biden, like that Harry Sisson guy. You see like JoJo from Jurors, Brooklyn Dad Defiant. There's a whole list of people. You can tell they're clearly just paid. The Krasenstein midgets. Those
actually exist.
Well, they're not actually midgets. They're just really short.
Okay, fuck, that would have been a great fucking name.
No,
Embrace your shortness.
Ed Krasenstein and Brian Krasenstein. They're all overacts.
Okay.
You probably would recognize them.
I love it. That would have been a great name.
Yeah, he's got his own little show where he just looks little in his chair, and he's always talking like this, and like you definitely would know him to see him. But
so yeah, I mean, he has a big show.
He's got a large following. He's got a large following.
You're not getting what I'm saying, because you said he's a small guy and he has a small show. Do you mean he has a big show?
Oh, he's got a big
everything
show,
is bigger than him, right?
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, a lot of this is like, this is a popular law, 83%. So they they can't attack it, and it almost makes you wonder, like, why would you even attack it if it's a popular law? If it needs to happen, you don't need to support it. You don't need to be like, fondle Donald Trump's balls, but just quietly not oppose it. The fact that they're opposing it so aggressively and really with nothing, they have nothing here. Yep. It makes you wonder, well, why are they pushing so hard against this? And of course, you realize this is a big part of their voting strategy, was getting a lot of that's the only thing that makes sense. I guess I should probably put this on, because I don't know if it's a conspiracy.
Damn, twice already.
Well, yeah, two in one day, but like the only way that the insane immigration policy on the left makes sense of the last couple of years, which is essentially no immigration policy at all, just complete open doors, is because they want to bring people in that they think is going to give them a bunch of free shit, and then they think that you have their votes sealed, locked down. Because the fact of the matter is, and we talked about this yesterday, this open doors immigration policy that allows everybody to come in, that's not really a progressive or liberal policy in terms of like the economics of it. It depresses wages. It brings in an easily exploitable workforce. You know who loves it? Big business loves it. The court, like the 1%, the rich people who are hiring these people, who love a large illegal workforce, because they are highly exploitable. You can pay them under the table on shit wages. You don't have to worry about them trying to come after you with labor law violations. Like the right, or like at least the big business right, loves that kind of immigration policy. There's no reason why the left should be all about it. It actually hurts. It goes against traditional liberal progressive economic policies. The same people that are like, fight for 15 and always saying gotta have a living wage, are supportive of bringing in millions of undocumented, uneducated, unskilled workers who only are going to depress wages. So it doesn't make any sense unless you factor in that this is also millions of votes for them. And I actually think they miscalculated. I think once they get a lot of these people here, I don't think a lot of them will vote for them. But I think that's what they're trying to do.
Man, at the end of the day, just like USAID, why are you debating or fighting something that is common sense? Investigating billions of dollars of taxpayers' money going overseas is a good thing.
Yeah,
no matter what, it's a good thing. Why are you fighting it? If you're trying to prevent voter fraud, why are you fighting it?
Yeah.
If you're trying to say that Social Security, if Elon Musk is right and 20 million people above the age of 100, when there's only less than 100,000 of them are receiving Social Security payments, why wouldn't you want to investigate this and put an end to it? Because it is taxpayers' money. It is fraud. So why would you be against those things if you're not protecting yourself? This is the thing, right? What else? What else?
You gotta ask those questions for sure. Go ahead.
But no. But all I'm saying is, I'm kind of just adding to your point, because this is all it's showing. As me, someone, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, why would you be against this? Because if 83% of Americans are saying that they want some type of law preventing voter fraud, that means that it's hey, bro, that 83%, that means that they don't care who you're voting for. Democrats and fucking Republicans and independent, whatever. 83% of Americans are saying, yes, we want this. And then you have, like, why, what hill are you?
I saw this funny, funny stat the other day. They had like polling approval ratings of like famous events, like World War II or whatever. And one of them was the Black Death. And it was like, do you approve or disapprove of the Black Death? It had like 14% approval rating. So, you know what I mean? Like, even the Black Death gets fucking 14% of the people will agree with it. So if you can get 83% of the people to agree on any topic, that's near universal unanimity. That means
if you remove that 14%.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You're always going to have some weirdos who are going to be against whatever, right? But if you can get 83%, that's as close to 100% as you're ever going to get. And you're right. Like, the very fact that you're opposing it is highly suspicious. Like, even if you oppose some of the cuts based on, no, I don't think that's valid, but to oppose the investigation at all, to oppose it as a pretend like, no, there could not possibly be any fraud, that's highly suspicious. It really makes you wonder what
are you hiding?
What are you hiding, right? Exactly, it does. And even if they're just like, oh, we're just going to oppose whatever Trump does, I'm not interested in that.
Be honest, but terrible. At least be honest.
If that's be honest with it, so that people can vote you the fuck out.
Yeah,
because 100%. That's bullshit. Nobody wants that kind of leadership.
I always love episodes when I get to me going on a rant is just normal. That's
why you probably go on rants. You probably go on rants like at the dinner table, like not enough peas here. Fucking
my wife is just like, shut the like. We had a birthday. My nephew's birthday was last week.
Yeah.
And before we got there, I'm like, I'm not going to talk politics. Like, good.
That lasted what? 2 minutes?
No. They're very leftist. So I'm not even, I played with the children. I literally I played, how do you call it? Rough House with the two boys. So while the adults were speaking, the kids were playing. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, sometimes you need to do that to keep the peace in the household for sure.
It's not worth it. It's a bunch of liberal women. So if I really wanted to destroy my nephew's birthday, I could have just went around the table and start
just dropping bombs. So what do you think of
shit bombs?
What do you think of Elon?
Shit bomb, and I just leave.
Drop them and then
go outside and smoke a cigar by myself.
You come back, it's fucking like blood everywhere.
Yep.
So Joe says the Dems' only purpose in the U.S. is to maintain the illusion of choice in a two-party system, and they do that
fucked up.
Only by maintaining the Great Divide. I could not agree with you more. I think a lot of on both sides, the politics at the highest levels is giving the illusion that there is actually this great divide when there actually isn't, and it isn't really left and right. It's more up and down. It's class war. That a lot of the things that get passed off as culture wars are actually class wars disguised as culture wars. And I think that's very intentional. I think they do that. They know if they keep the peasants, bickering with each other, we won't notice when they're picking our pockets. And I think they're probably exactly right. And I think there's a lot of value in people on both sides recognizing that. Like, of course, we're going to have exactly. The Prince Machiavelli. It's very Machiavellian.
Right there.
Yeah. It's exactly what I'm talking about is exactly that. This very cynical, power-driven politics that just has no use for the 95% of everyone else. It's just games played by the people at the top. And I think a lot of us, regular, peasants or whatever, of course we're going to have our
Excuse
opinions.
me. I like to be referred to as commoners.
Yeah, of course. Yes, that's the politically correct term. But while we engage in these debates, I think we would all do well to have this at least in the back of our minds that to a certain extent, a lot of this is, the shiny objects. We're like the cats. We're chasing the laser pointers all around the room, and they're sort of over there doing it because, like I was just saying, exactly right about immigration. The economic effects of the Democratic immigration policy absolutely makes no sense when you consider Democratic economic policy, because it absolutely hurts the working class. It hurts the middle class. It keeps wages artificially depressed, and it provides business owners, big business, with a large, easily exploitable illegal workforce. That's absolutely, like, I understand why the right or certain segments of the right would love the current open borders immigration policy. I have no idea why it's the left that's enforcing it. And it's funny because the vast majority of the pushback is actually coming from the right, the rank and file conservatives, the elites, the establishment conservatives, the ones who are at the top with their rich buddies. They actually love immigration policy as is. Tony G says, and in Canada we have too many illusionary parties. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a bit much, right? Like it's hard to kind of tell the difference between even the NDPs and the Liberals, but even like the Conservatives sometimes and the Liberals, especially with this election. I've never seen one where, fucking Polyev went left and Carney went right, and now I don't know if they met in the middle or if fucking maybe Carney's even more to the right than Polyev is. It's a weird sort of mess. But Polyev, I think he got himself into this mess when he set himself up to go against Trudeau, and then they parachute Carney in, and now he's got nowhere to go.
Anything else you wanted to add to this, or because
No.
I had other videos, but I think that at this point we've made our fucking point.
Yeah.
I think
if it's a good video, I'd say play it, but if not, we can move on.
I don't know. It's if you think you're triggered right now, there's just one. This is my favorite one of all. It's a minute and a half long of cringiness, one clip after the other. It is just fucking insane.
Okay.
But this is a representing
addressing the issues
Americans.
that matter. They are prioritizing a bill that disenfranchises millions of American women. Roughly 69 million women, about 25% of eligible voters in our country, have IDs that do not match their birth certificates, usually because they changed their name once they got married. Under this bill, if they don't have a passport, and half of Americans don't, they wouldn't be able to register to vote. Tens of millions of women, the backbone of our families and our communities, stripped of their right to vote simply because they they need a passport, yes, or one of these real IDs, or they can bring their birth certificate along with their marriage certificate. There's all kinds of solutions. So, for them to have...
But don't debate it. The point is not for you to debate that video because she's not going to see anything. I'm assuming she's a she, but the more I look at her, she might be a dude. But... This you don't need to debate it. This is a cringe video that's gonna make you lose your beard because you have no hair to lose.
Got married. Imagine a woman who has voted in every election since she turned 18, who pays her taxes, who contributes to her community. One day she learns that because her name changed when she got married, she is suddenly unable to register to vote in her state. No amount of documentation, no social security card, no marriage license, no previous voter registration will satisfy the requirements of this bill unless she possesses an updated passport or a birth certificate that matches her current name. This isn't just bureaucratic nonsense. It is an outrageous attack on the rights of women across our country. And the worst part, Madam Speaker, is that Republicans have known that this was an issue with this bill for years, and they've done nothing to fix it. They either don't care that millions of American women will be stripped of their right to vote, or that has been their goal all along.
Isn't it amazing to see that these are the people that represents us, that speak for us. Like, we've seen 3. The first video you had one, the second video you had the cross-eyed wonder, and then you have him / her / whatever the fuck that person is, telling us, all saying the same thing, yet they're literally lies. And you have AOC lying as well. Like, what is happening here? This is what blows my mind, is that since when is it okay for politicians to outright lie like this? And they seem to be ready to die on a hill that shouldn't even be a discussion in the first place. Because
that's right.
83% of Americans that were polled agree that something needed to be done. So what are we talking about here? And all I could see is that they have something massive to hide, because they're fighting too hard for something that is nonsensical.
Popular piece of legislation. They
could have simply said, all they could have said, because our job is to criticize what the Republicans are doing at all times. This is our job. So we will make sure that they're applying this in a way that is legal, that will not prevent Americans from being able to vote. We will make sure that they're doing it the right way. They could have simply said that. Just say, you know what, we're gonna do our job and make sure that this is done properly, that it will respect Americans' right to vote. Instead, they're inventing shit that makes no sense. They're outright lies, and they're trying to pass them as just another thing. Like, hey, no problem. It's good, Joe.
It's weird. I don't understand. Yeah, it seems like a weird hill to die on. They don't have at all a very good argument against it. And again, the fact that it's so popular suggests that there's an ulterior motive for why they're opposing it. Obviously, they don't have to go out and like praise it and say this is such a great law, but you could just quietly not say anything.
It just doesn't look good, right? No matter how you look at it, the fact that you're arguing with this makes no sense to me. I cannot see one good reason to actually fight this. I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Well, the only one that makes sense is that they were counting on this as a voting strategy, or as an electoral
Like I said,
strategy.
good.
Yeah.
I said good. Like, there's not one good reason.
Yeah. No good reason. Yes, just the bad ones.
It just doesn't look good. I don't see why you're fighting this whatsoever. I can't see it. And
I agree.
If you guys in the comment section or that are watching this later on today can see an argument to this, let us know, because I can't see it. I really can't.
No.
Are we ready to turn into our second subject of the day?
Yeah, let's slide into that one. An hour and a half into it.
Yeah, we've been going hard at that one. Talking about sliding, we've been going hard at that one. This one, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, if you've seen the videos of the helicopter crash that took place yesterday on the Hudson River, but they are fucking freaky. Like, this really, like, oh, what the fuck is this? But here's, let me check. Just let me make sure, because I thought I had 2. I do not believe this is the right one. So let me check out my download folder here. There you go.
You got it.
This is very fucking interesting. Like, I watched it and I'm like, that's cringy. So here's a video showing the crash yesterday, trying to explain a bit what happened, or not explain what the fuck happened, because I don't think anybody knows right now. But here's a video, and just be ready. It's interesting.
Final moments of the fatal flight. The helicopter falls out of the sky, plunging into the Hudson River. It appears to break apart and flip. Another angle shows the rotor blade close behind.
It sounded like a sonic boom on my right. So I look up and literally I just see a helicopter splitting in two.
I know that the main rotor, like, you could see it just spinning and everything.
The helicopter upside down, floating on the surface as crews race for the wreck. There were no survivors.
Aboard the helicopter were 6 people. 1 pilot, 2 adults, and 3 children.
A family of 5 visiting from Barcelona. Augustin Escobar, a Spanish tech CEO, posing with his wife and 3 children moments before takeoff.
We were met by the first responders and they told us they did everything they can to try to save these victims, and you can see the trauma in their face.
The helicopter was a Bell
there's no
206.
surviving
It
that.
took off from Lower Manhattan at 2:59 p.m. local time. The Joy flight tracking the island before heading back south, then losing control, tumbling into the Hudson River 18 minutes later.
Well, it appears to me from the video that there was some sort of catastrophic flight control malfunction.
Yeah, no shit there, Einstein.
The rotor fell off.
And the tail rotor
Pretty catastrophic.
Departed the aircraft in
It's
flight.
so messed up, huh?
The flight's
Wild.
popular with tourists, just a few $100s to view the city's famous skyline.
I was just thinking that would
This
actually be a
video
really
will
cool thing to
crucial for
do if the
investigators
rotor stayed
to
on.
determine what went
Talk
wrong.
about, I'm just going to pause it because it's finished either way, but what a business killer. If that's your business, is to take people for a few $100, they're like, yeah, maybe that's why it's just a few $100 because of the tape holding everything together. People forget the big screws holding the propeller in place. Like, the
It's
rotor,
shocking
like,
that can even happen.
It is just like, try explaining what happened on that one. I'm very curious to hear this one. And, the only other thing I wanted to point out when it comes to this, because I don't want to go through the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories here, but I'll put my hat just because I haven't put it on in a while. And I think that it might fit, and Cheryl wants one. So we should definitely talk about this. We should make our own, political orphans. Yep. I'd want.
I like
would
it.
you not?
Yeah,
I'd look
I'd
it.
like it.
I'd get one.
I would get one.
Yep. So
well, what is the? Do you want to just give us the?
No, I'm good. I
brief
was just pulling off the LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
So this is the person we're talking about. So the CEO, the tech CEO company that they're talking about is Augustin Escobar. Such a badass name. I actually really like that last name, like Escobar.
Yeah.
But he was a CEO of rail infrastructure at Siemens Mobility, which, if you don't know who Siemens are, like, they are a massive corporation that are literally worldwide.
They're one of those giant companies that like kind of has their finger in everything, and they're sort of everywhere. A classic global conglomerate.
Yeah, extremely well said. So if you look at this, like, this is a guy that's been there for 27 years. So you're talking about one of the head of a massive department at Siemens. And he was responsible, and this is the part I found interesting. He's responsible to drive innovation, shape the future of transportation, and spearhead sustainable solutions that positively impact communities worldwide. And this is where people are saying, like, that dude is literally looking at the future of transportation, and supposedly that Siemens just signed a massive contract with China. So in that war that's going on, tariff war going with the US, is that involved? I don't know. But all I'm saying is just questionable that you have a guy like him that dies in a fucking freak accident. It's just because of who he is and what he did for a living, that he's at the head of the department that deals with driving innovation for the future of transportation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't think there's any hard evidence of anything, but
I'm not saying that there is. I'm not saying
sure.
that there is. It's just this, I can tell you as a conspiracy theorist that follows other conspiracy theorists, they're going to go to fucking town. I give them the weekend. I'll be back on Monday with some shit, but it's I can understand why they're looking at this and they're like, conspiracy.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's got all the sort of all the hallmarks of a conspiracy, right? You've got the freakish accident. You've got the powerful, well-connected insider. You've got the China stuff. Yeah, it's definitely right up your alley. But yeah, keep us informed on Monday. See what the latest is.
Now I wanted to talk about the X post. I already talked about the LinkedIn. I don't know if I don't think we have time to go into X one. We're 20 minutes out. So all to say that, you know what? Let me just show it. I'm not gonna show the responses because the guy wouldn't stop this morning. Like he was going and going and going. And you know, I don't know if you get those trolls, but I get them literally every day.
Yeah,
on
once in a
social
while.
media.
Yeah, they just you just keep going.
No, but that one is just out there. He has like 40,000 followers on X. Reposted one of my videos and just fucking ripped. Called me all the names possible. Called me this. Called me that. Like he's.
What was it about the SAVE Act?
No. It's about. I posted a video. Like I post a lot. Normally, I don't really post them on X because they don't tend to do that well.
Okay.
Like they're mostly. I just don't know why the link I was using isn't working. Just give me a second. All to say that I normally post. I do videos for Instagram. Not Instagram even. It's for TikTok. Like I've gotten very good at talking around certain things, like just in a very sarcastic manner, so I don't get in trouble. Like I'm very, very good at doing that. And I started posting them on X as well, because not a lot of people do what I do. So I figured I'd post it, and interesting enough is like it's picking up right now. Not great. It's just I don't have a big audience on X, right? So I basically posted a video, and here we go. I will share the page right here. So it's just me talking, like I'm walking my dog, I'm smoking a cigar, and I'm just talking about this, the 70 countries that actually agreed to sit down with Trump, and saying that it looked really bad for China and Canada to be basically the only two countries that we're going to put reciprocal tariffs on the US. So that's basically all I'm saying, and I'm showing the proof. So here's the guy's answer. Let me scroll that in. And this is just to show you that the left and the right, when you look at the extremes, are the same. There's no difference. They just have different ideologies, but their mode of operation is the same. So basically, a guy by the name of Kid Cool, which has about 45,000 followers, said, sure, dumb fuck. Love how morons like this idiot think
He did, right? He fucking dragged you, man.
who won't be bullied by an American fat fuck blowtard buffoon are all liberals. Pussies, not patriots, get bullied. Capiche, fucko? So this is a post that this is rebuttal to my video where I was simply showing facts. That's it. Like I just showed facts, and at the end I'm like, is China really the country we want to align with when we share the border to our greatest ally, the United States? That's basically my post. And this is why it's important to always go see what people stand for in the first place before you get involved. And here's the guy. So just so you guys know, it's at Kid Cool for you. But when you start looking, he has major TDS. Like all of his page is Trump, 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 Trump. You go on and on. It is just Fox News, Trumps, and that's all he talks about. So, my point with this is just, I responded to him and I'm just like, hey, man, it's never okay to insult somebody you don't know just because you disagree with him. So I just responded a couple of times. I'm polite with him because at the end of the day, I know guys like him. I've been insulted by those guys for the past 3.5 years. And I guarantee you that in real life, they would call me sir and would never have the balls to do this. So I know who I'm dealing with, right? But at the same time, my point was to show the right is no better than the left. Like the two extremes are the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I bash the left all the time, but I will be the first one to bash the right when the opportunity arises. And when I saw this morning, I'm like, bro. It's funny that the lefty that was challenging me on the other guy's post on LinkedIn was super polite, even though we disagreed. We were exchanging. We have like 4 comments each, just piling on top of one of each other, just the argument is going. He didn't respond to the last one because I provided facts and it's going to be done. But he went right away. Instead of saying this guy has no idea what he's talking about and here is why he's wrong, he calls me name like literally 7 times in the span of 2 sentences.
Well, yeah, that's usually what people do when they don't have anything else to argue about. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you see it on both sides, but
oh yeah,
it sucks because those tend to be the people that have big followings, right? People like loud, obnoxious, and it's kind of one of the shitty things about social media. It'd be so nice if there was like, I don't even know how you'd have it because you'd have to moderate it, but like just a place where people went to actually have real debates. Essentially, that's kind of what we're trying to do with this show. Trying to provide that place, that space where people, your argument is going to be assessed on its own merits. It don't matter who says something. Is what you're saying a valid opinion or not? Is this a strong argument or not? But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Sometimes it's nice to take a break from social media just to clear the head for a bit. I've been sucked down a lot of those rabbit holes too, and it's like there's an inexhaustible number of idiots on social media in general. So,
but I can tell you, bro, as you do more of these, especially with me, you're gonna get more and more of those guys. Because you're pretty sheltered on your ex. Like I follow what you post about, and you have your subject that you talk about, and the people that follow you agree with you. It's hard to disagree. It's hard to disagree with what you're posting, right? It's very hard to disagree with it. Because I bash both sides all the time, and I've been doing it from the get-go, my following is used to it. So I don't get shit from my It's not my followers that rip into me because I've been talking to the middle for 3.5 years. I'm just talking common sense. It's always the people that are on both sides of like the both edges that just fucking rip into what I'm saying. But I'm so used to it that I now create content around them.
It.
I fucking love it. I'm such a master troll now because of the trolls that I've had to deal with. But all I'm saying is that's coming your way too, bro. I'm just saying, you're gonna have to start to deal with those people soon enough. And piece of advice for you: don't let your girlfriend look at your social media anymore. My wife has stopped. She cannot look at the comments.
It's too much.
Well, think about it this way. I'm used to people shit. I've been shat on my whole life when it comes to my argument, so I'm used to it. That's fine. But when you have your significant other that knows you intimately, that knows the type of person and why people don't realize how hard it is to open your social media and know that every time you in my case, every time I open it, I'm getting shit on every time because I have an opinion. I don't have a popular opinion, so I'm being shit on. I'm used to it. It's fine. But as you said, this is why after a certain time at night, I put my phone away and you're not going to hear from me because I need to stop this before I go to bed
just
or else
to get out of your own. Yeah.
But my wife can't look at this because she knows why I do it. She knows I do it because I have good intentions. And to see those people
talk shit like that, it's gotta be hard.
Well,
it's like if you were to watch a bunch of idiots insult your wife, it'd probably make you far more angry than it does.
But that's why you'll never see my wife on my content. That's why you don't see pictures of my family. You won't see pictures of my wife because they don't deserve to be dragged the way I'm dragged, and I don't want to do that to them. I don't want because it takes a special type of person to deal with it. I can. She.
Oh
can.
yeah, you got to be wired a certain way for sure. I mean, I think even people who say like, oh, it doesn't bother me, like. I think what they really mean is they've learned to deal with it, but it is tough. It really is tough to be like, personally insulted, right? By people that don't know you. And even if you know it's bullshit, like, we're social creatures and we're wired in such a way that if we're not wired to like just absorb insults like fucking left, right, and center. And even if you're, are in a place where you know who you are, you're confident and you can deal with it, it affects everyone to a certain degree.
I don't like it, man. It bothers the shit out of me. It's just but you know what I said there? I clicked on the guy's page and I started looking before I just know if I'm going to answer somebody like that, I'm going to go check what they're about. And then right away, I know I'm like, oh, your profile is private. I'm like, bro, you don't even have a picture of yourself on your private fucking page. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not gonna even go there with you. Are you kidding me? But how many times though have I been on pages where I look at the guy and I'm like, oh shit, we might have more in common than he thinks, and I take the time to be polite with the guy, that I get new followers, and those guys become super fans. They start texting me a bunch of shit on private messages saying, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Just because I took the time to just say, hey, guy, have you ever considered that you would never talk to me like that in real life? That maybe you need to understand that this is a form of conversation that you need to be respectful if you're trying to drive your point across. Because if you're not, I always think about what Mike Tyson said. Social media has allowed people to insult others without ever getting punched in the face. And I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So if you bring it back to the center, some of those people are just like, oh, fuck, he does have a point. You're just so used to being able to insult one another without consequences that you forget that in real life, you're just a bitch and you'd never do that.
No, that's right. I mean, everyone's a tough guy, behind the screen. Everyone's a tough
keyboard
guy.
warriors, right? They used
yeah.
to be called keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called now. I'm not that cool. So,
what do we got? What do we got? 10 minutes left. We can go a little over, I guess, to get into election
especially
coverage.
for the joke I have for you, because I have a brilliant joke for you. Oh, bro, I found that yesterday. I'm like, hey, I found the end. But go for it, man. I think you have some updates for the Canadian. Yeah. I have one video, one post in case you didn't show it, but I'm pretty sure you're at least showing one of the two.
Yeah. All right. So mostly it's again, it's well, actually, first I'll start with Polyev. And again, if you for our Canadian election coverage, we're trying to slightly get away from the opinion. We will obviously have our opinion, but what we're really just trying to do is just showing you what the candidates are talking about, what they're saying. And so usually anytime I see just what appears to be a, any one of the major candidates just kind of saying, giving a speech or something, I'll be like, yeah, I'll bookmark that and we'll talk about that. So we'll start with Polyev, and then we will get into Kearney. Because Kearney is, he's actually seems like he's been, I don't know if he's doing a lot of interviews or if they're just lots of different clips from the same interview.
He seems to be doing, Polyev seems to be doing videos outside of like talking to the people. I'm starting to see those videos where he's talking to people outside of his rallies, which thank fucking God, it's about time that he does that. But yeah, maybe that's what it is.
We have to address.
Yeah. It's
go for it.
Like it. All right. So here's him.
Once again, yesterday's historic mistreatment of Canada by President Trump. I condemn President Trump for keeping the tariffs on Canada, all while he offered a 90-day pause on tariffs for dozens of other countries.
What is he talking about?
It's a mystery why the president treats Canada worse than dozens of other faraway.
That Trump said for everyone that only was applicable to the retaliatory tariffs. So the ones that he had placed on Canada before that, which believe are there's let me see. I think a lot of
but that's my point.
Yeah, it's like dairy. No, they're definitely there. It's like dairy. I think there's some softwood lumber. It's not a whole lot, but
this is exactly my point. So he's basically arguing the retaliatory tariffs that we have on them that they then added towards us, like okay. I just want to make sure, because outside of that, I've never heard Pierre Polyev or Kearney say we're going to remove those tariffs.
No, I haven't either. I saw yesterday something. I don't know if it was I didn't hear it from anyone else, so I'm assuming it was just not bullshit. But someone said it was a fairly large account too. It was something like Canada has made an offer that they will remove all tariffs if America does the same. I don't know. I didn't hear anything else.
Makes 100% sense, because that is what Trump probably wants. So
to me, I mean, that seems fair, right? Like if all we're trying to do is protect the fucking dairy industry here in Canada, and that's all it is. There's this dairy monopoly.
Matthew, don't kill me, please.
Yeah, then that's bullshit. Like you're gonna hold the rest of the fucking country hostage, like tariffs on everything else to protect the dairy industry. Fuck that.
You want to rewind it? Like just start it from the get-go, because I cut it off, so I'll shut my mouth now.
Yeah. All right.
We have to address once again yesterday's historic mistreatment of Canada by President Trump. I condemn President Trump for keeping the tariffs on Canada, all while he offered a 90-day pause on tariffs for dozens of other
Is that your buddy on the
countries.
right?
It remains a mystery why the president treats Canada worse.
So fucking racist
than
because
dozens
he's a
of
brown
other
guy. He's
faraway
automatically the
countries who are
same
not
guy.
America's
alike.
best friend. And this, of course, happened after Prime Minister Carney boasted that he had had a productive call with President Trump and that he had made, quote, progress. What progress?
So yeah, basically, I just want to get that sort of out there. He basically, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, but where's like, I don't really see it as much to do about anything here. I like your idea. I think why is no one just saying, listen, we'll remove all our tariffs, you do the same? That seems like the obvious, easy answer, right? What do you think Trump would say to that?
Of course he would. Like, clearly, if he's given 90-day rest to everybody in the world except China, he's basically showing what his intentions were from the get-go. Was an attack at China in the first place. So I don't, you know what I don't get, and this is pretty similar to what we were talking about the SAVE Act.
Yep.
That for a conservative to go and try to die on the heel of let's go to a tariff war with the US is nonsensical to me. Because if I look from a liberal's perspective, like the video I showed from Fox News yesterday saying that, basically confirming what I've been saying all along, that Carney's using this as his main campaign focus. Like, forget that my party has fucked our economy for the past 10 years and focus on the big bad orange men. And because he's been in power for 11 weeks now, he's responsible for destroying our economy. Focus on that because it really makes me look good and it prevents people from questioning the past 10 years of liberal. But I don't understand why a guy like Pierre Poilievre simply doesn't approach it from a common sense perspective and just say, guys,
get rid of tariffs.
It is not Trump that's been destroying. Do I agree with what Trump is doing to our with tariffs? I don't. But at the end of the day, they are our biggest ally. Let's negotiate. Yeah. And guys, don't forget that the people that fucked our economy is not the US. It's not Trump. It's 10 years of liberal. Drop mic, walk out, you're done.
Yep.
Like,
yeah. I mean, you couldn't.
Carney is giving him again. You know, the other day we were talking about Poilievre was running alone towards. He's at the 40-yard out. He's going to run a touchdown. He's alone. He fucking fumbles. He messes. He stumbles on his own feet. Stumbles. Carney's like, "Hey, bro, a ball." He picks it up. Then Carney fucking stumbles again, and now they're both staring at the ball on the ground. They're like, "Which one to take it?"
Yeah.
This is where they're at. Like. Carney is literally, no, actually, you know what? Let's add to this. Carney picks up the ball, throws it at you. Literally, hey, bro, look.
And he's fumbling it. He's fumbling it.
And Poilievre is just like, what should I do with this beautiful ball? Like, what's going on? Like, those are our two best people? Like, those are a prime example of Canadians right there. We're fucked, bro. We're really, really fucked. Come on.
Yeah. No, it does seem like they're both kind of fumbling around. So I've got.
It has to be done on purpose. It has, and again, this goes back to what we were saying about the left. This has to be done on purpose. There has to be something that we're not seeing that he has a part of. Because I guarantee you that I have never heard a conservative that will vote for them to say we need to go at war with the US. If you start looking at his comments, most of his comments are just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are we even having this discussion? You could literally just say, let's negotiate, make a super cool slogan. Canada first, let's negotiate. Pow, done. We're done. That's it. That's your, and then fight Carney on the past 10 years of economic destruction that they've put our country to.
I don't know why he's not
talking about the winning argument right there.
I don't know why he's not talking about that. For me, as a liberal, left of center, like that's the main issue that's causing me to not vote for the Liberals, but I know about that because I've seen the stats, but a lot of people don't know about that. You know, a lot of people who maybe aren't necessarily following politics on the day to day, they may have some sense, oh yeah, the economy hasn't been good, but it's been bad for everyone. Well, no, it hasn't. It's specifically Canada, and some of the memes that you see show it. I think you really need to see it. Like, he should blow it up in a fucking giant thing and have behind him that meme that we've put up a couple times. It's not even a meme. It's just a chart of the graphs. I think you posted it yesterday, but it shows how the other countries have done so much better than Canada specifically. And yeah, of course, if it's a global recession or something, you can say, well, everyone got hurt, but that's not what this is. This is other countries doing well, and Canada specifically. Yes. Here we go. Can you scroll down a little bit, because it's even hidden? It's so far at the bottom, it's hidden.
You're literally, I can't, because it's part of it. But literally, just so you guys know, Canada is at the complete bottom. And okay, hold on, I'm gonna share it a different way so that I can actually show Canada.
Yeah, it's real. It's a chart of real GDP per capita growth of the last 10 years.
Oh, hold on.
At the very top, you've got.
I got it right here. So if you give me a second, I'm going to remove this and then share it a different way. Present, share screen. And this, now you should see the bottom. There you go. So
yes, you can.
We're right here. So literally, Canada is dead last at 1% between, and 2014 to 2024. It's interesting how Trudeau got elected.
Literally when Trudeau got in.
Those are Trudeau's years right there.
Yeah.
But that's all a big coincidence, though.
Behind such economic powerhouses as Mexico, Chile. Do you want to go up a little more and see some of the other countries that are leaving us in the dust?
Chile, Australia,
Colombia, fucking Estonia, Czechia, Greece, fucking Greece. They were explode. Remember, they were 10 years ago or 8 years ago, they were going to destroy the EU. They were in this giant Hungary, Lithuania, Turkey, Slovenia, Costa Rica.
Ireland is number one, bro.
Ireland is 70%.
But look at this. Even the U.S., we're being told that the U.S. is getting destroyed, that the economy is down the drain. They grew almost 20%, 19%. While the U.S. grew 19%, we grew 1%. Yet the U.S. is the problem.
While Chile grew 7%, we grew 1%. While fucking Estonia grew 12%, 14%, we grew 1%. While Greece grew 19%, we grew 1%. That's my take as a liberal. It's not in some ways, Carney got a bit of a from my opinion, he just inherited such a mess. There's almost nothing he can do. Even if I loved the guy, I would almost certainly not vote for the Liberals, because you cannot reward that kind of incompetence. All you're doing is baking in inefficiencies and incompetence into the system, and to vote for that just because you don't like Donald Trump down south, that's really dumb. That's really stupid.
But from a Carney's perspective, just like you said, I understand why he's playing that game, where he's playing the tariff wars, because that's all he has. He doesn't have anything else. But it blows my mind that Poilievre is doing this, that he's literally giving him the ball. He's literally preventing Carney from being exposed by simply calling out the past 10 years. And I don't understand why. It is such an easy.
It's such an easy, and you can't, there's nothing. It's just the fact that the numbers are the numbers, right? There's no opinion needed. It cannot be defended against. The best he could do is oh, well, I wasn't prime minister, I'll do better. But that's not effective. I wouldn't find that persuasive. One of the videos I'm going to show here in a second, actually, I think gets into, because as you said, the tariff thing is he doesn't really have that anymore. So we were well, what's he going to run on? And there's a good clip I'm going to show here in a second.
That I think gun right. It's going to be guns, right?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly the video.
You're right.
Of course it is. Pew 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 pew.
So so I'm going to show a couple clips here. So for the first, before I get into that, because that's really going to bake your noodle. That's going to really light a fire under
my noodle. God damn.
So,
well, okay, sir.
Before we get there, though, this is another piece, and we'll both be in strong agreement on this. But he was asked about gender identity, and you can almost Carney. You can almost hear the guy asking the question. You can almost you picture what he looks like. But he's like, you haven't said much about the LGBTQ, whatever the fuck. And so here's Carney. You can tell he doesn't want to talk about it. You can tell he's trying to dance, but he's a liberal, and so he has to say certain things. And again, this is if you are watching the show as one of my followers on X, and therefore are likely, one of your main concerns is gender ideology, and just you don't want to vote for politicians who are going to continue this sort of really destructive the policies in that regard. You're probably not going to like this. And again, you can tell he doesn't. I think he's smart enough to know these are losers. These are
he's not moving the needle.
No, definitely not. But he still has to go by liberal orthodoxy on this issue.
At a fundamental, Mr. Carney, your platform hasn't said anything about LGBTQ Canadians.
You can tell what he looks like
where
just
the
by
province wants to restrict health care for transgender people, and they want the Canada Health Act to defend their access to gender-affirming care. Would you do that? And what is your party going to do about the backsliding that we're seeing for gender and sexual minorities?
Thank. So before, I'm just going to quickly say, just
what
the way
fuck is a sexual minority? I've never heard that one before.
People are obsessed with fucking sex, man. Yes, we all like sex, but most of us just go and do it in the privacy of our bedrooms, and we don't need to fucking wear it on our sleeve all the time. Yeah, Memorino's like, oh God, the alphabets. Yes, it's that time. It's time for the alphabets.
Mr. Carney, you haven't.
You can tell.
Yet, so
yeah,
the head is, but the head's bobbling.
He's a bobblehead for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I just want to pause it before he answers, because just the way it's framed is so they're saying, oh, they're trying to take away health care from transgender. No one's talking about taking away health care. But what you call health care is literally cutting off the healthy body parts of teenagers because some idiot got into their head and told them that they were born in the wrong body. That isn't health care. No one's saying if they break a bone, they shouldn't be able to go and get it fixed. That's health care. Cutting off body parts of teenagers is not health care.
Thank you.
Unless you're a woman that wants to get her bone fixed.
Hold on, let me pause this. Go ahead.
I'm just being an asshole. I'm just saying you're saying that nobody with a broken bone is going to get refused treatment unless their broken bone is a woman clitoris. Fuck. I'm sorry. You go ahead, bro. It's so fucking stupid. Unless it's a woman's dick.
The female penis. The female
penis. I apologize. I apologize for the date.
Yeah, these.
No, go ahead, bro. I'm just talking to myself at this point.
Our Canada is a mosaic. We are all Canadians, but we all have different identities and distinctions. And one of the great strengths of this country is recognizing that people can be who they are, they can love who they love, they can live where they want to live. And it's fundamentally important that the federal government is the defender of those rights, defender of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And access to health care in Canada is not a business, it is a fundamental right, and we will defend it.
And so you can see from that first of all, he really didn't want to answer the question. But again, he agrees with the framing that cutting off body parts of teenagers because they've been manipulated into thinking that they're the opposite sex is healthcare. What we really need. So he's essentially going to continue down this road. I guarantee if you asked him what a woman is, he would not be able to answer it. Or he would answer it in one of the ridiculous ways, like, oh, a woman is any person who identifies as a woman. Well, that's a circular answer. That doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up just because it's not a surprise. He kind of knew he was going to go down this route. But especially if you see, he's got a trans daughter or something. If this is an important thing for you, and it is for me, this encroaching ideology that demands that, basically gaslights all of society into disbelieving the evidence of our eyes and ears. If you were looking for someone who is going to push back against that, Carney's not your guy. He's going to continue with I've heard a few people say, well, he almost seems like a common sense liberal, and maybe he is in his personal life, but he's still got to have to go along with this sort of nonsense because he's a liberal party. So again, that's another reason why I can't vote for this guy.
It's just very interesting, though, that there's still there now. Carney is going to almost has the non-choice, like it's almost forced on him now to play the Kamala Harris card and go even further down the left because the right is not going to vote for him. Like people that consider themselves conservative or people that are against the LGBTQ agenda and in a way of affirming care, as they like to call it.
Yep.
Or
Which
not, like guys like
euphemism.
you are not going to vote for him.
No.
So now he probably knows that he doesn't have a choice to go down that path. But at the same time, again, this is a great place for Poilievre to step in and say, unlike Carney, I will stop this.
Yeah.
So now
I will
he'd start
stop the
appealing to
mutilation
guys
of
like
our
you.
children. Yeah.
He's never gonna alienate his own base, but he might be able to gain guys like you. And you look at what Cheryl's saying here. Maybe Pierre's trying to appeal to liberal voters and thinks if he doesn't take this stance, he won't be able to win them over, talking about the tariffs. Yet, if he was smart, he could simply say, let's negotiate with Trump because we don't have a choice in the short term. Let's make Canada more self-reliant in our medium to long-term goals, and let's stop children mutilation.
Yeah.
That guy could cowboy dance to the election to becoming a prime minister because he would win guys like you. Done.
Well, exactly. Like I've said, on this show, I'm pretty open about my voting intentions, which is right now undecided, but I'm absolutely willing to vote for Poilievre, and I might be leaning that way. But if he said that, in the bag, you got my vote for sure.
But that's my point. Instead of trying to gain the regular left that agrees with the Trump blaming, which you're never going to convince them to vote for you on a somewhat conservative platform, why not simply stop talking about the tariffs and just allow Carney to make himself look stupid? Because right now he's looking like a fucking moron.
Yep.
So basically, without the tariffs, Carney has nothing to run on, and you can call him out on the economy, say that you will stop mutilation of children, and then say that you will negotiate with Trump once you become prime minister. There you go, bro. The election's in the bag. You could literally repeat those three things for the next 2 weeks. You're done. You won, bro.
I think you're right.
Start celebrating right now because he's going to win guys like you.
Yep. And there's a lot. There's a lot of people.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course there is. It's just.
And usually, elections are fought over the moderates and undecided in the middle, who you're trying to win their vote. But if you can steal a vote from the other side, that's like 2 votes, right? Because that's one less vote the other side gets,
and one more,
more you get. Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, 100%. I think that's really smart. Tony G says, "Ugh, Carney is ridiculous. Is there a guidebook on surviving Canada's election season?" No, but that reminds me.
It's called Jack Daniels and cocaine. No, just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't do that. On election day, we're going to have a special episode. Mine's. So this will be your guide to maybe not to surviving it, but certainly to being informed about it. So as the results come in, we're going to kind of just be live for a lot of the day. I think we only talk about this today, but we'll dial it in later about how exactly we're going to do it. But yeah,
remembering that shit and starting to promote it when we were just talking about it before the show.
Yeah, I'm always thinking, brother.
Good for you. I'm very impressed. Good for you.
But yeah, it'd be kind of cool if we just had more of an informal sort of maybe one of us.
I'd sit with a drink with a cigar, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Go have a bite or something. We'll just kind of follow results as they come in. Hell,
That's what they normally do. We could
even bring in some of the audience. Yeah, if some of the audience wants to jump on, they could jump on.
Yep.
Fucking
100%.
Joe.
But this is the way to.
Joe could come and braid his luxurious hair. Yeah, just yeah.
We should call him Joe the Lion Stradamus.
Yeah, Joe the Lionheart. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool if we just had, we could bring people in. I think we can fit up to like 10 people in here, mostly just a party, essentially. Like we give them commentary, of course.
Once. Yep.
But
since you're talking about this, just so you know, Kaylor Betts has agreed to come on. I just need to put into place when. And you remember Andrew Kaufman? That is now, I don't know if you know, but he's now part of the Trump administration. He was given an actual role under RFK. Also agreed to come on the show. I'm trying to get him next week.
He's the one who had to cancel or something?
Yep. So all I'm saying is that we got some really cool people. So not only are we going to start doing more of the reporting aspect of things, like covering the election, but we're still going to bring some great people. I reached out to a bunch. I reached out to the guy from yesterday. I reached out to a bunch of people. Let's see who. I want to talk to independent journalists. The people that are always showing up with cameras and talking to the people, left, right, center, don't care. Just I want to talk to people in the field. So
yeah, I like that idea. All right, so we'll get to this last one about Carney here, because it's definitely important, because I think it shows what he is going to try to run on after the tariff thing didn't work. So you're definitely right there. It's guns. And also,
you really want to piss me off? No, I'm just kidding. I've seen this one, I'm sure. Yeah.
Just the context of it is from Rebel News. It says Mark Carney says America's quote unquote irresponsible gun laws and quote unquote weak border enforcement are threatening Canadian safety. Like, weak border enforcement. I mean, but like we're not what, like, are we anyone to talk in that regard? Like
of course.
We definitely have. All right, so we'll play it and then we'll see what Mark says.
Tariffs are not the only American policies that are threatening our economy and our society. They're also threatening the safety of our communities. Criminals are taking advantage of irresponsible American gun laws.
I'm just going to pause that there. What kind of stands out to me is, like, because we were talking like, okay, he's got the tariff thing he doesn't have anymore, so what's he going to do? But it's pretty clear his platform is pretty anti-American. Like, it's it was when it was tariffs, it was going to attack America because of tariffs. Now it's attack America because of guns and weak border enforcement. I don't know how you're going to spin that, because like the weak border enforcement is a Biden thing, right? Like, I don't think anyone would call it weak border enforcement now. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't like this strategy. As you said, there are neighbors.
But what else is he gonna? Yeah. What else is he gonna run on if that's not it? Continue the video. I really need to pee, bro. I'm fucking yellow here. But
can you still hear
it? Oh yeah, I have my headphones, but I'm not bringing my microphone with me. So
yeah, good idea. All right, I'll keep playing.
And their weak border enforcement to bring illegal guns into Canada. Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms.
And that's the other one, of course. He's talking about X, obviously. Essentially, X has become all of these horrible things, Islamophobic, racist, sexist. No, bro, that's not really actually what's happening. And you can't. I wonder if that means he's going to go like after the hate speech bill, because that's a massive disaster. You cannot legislate fucking speech. You can't, because especially if it's just offensive, because that's going to be used against you. But we'll continue.
And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight crime, to protect Canadians, and to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan to make Canada secure, to make Canada strong. Criminals are trying to illegally import guns to Canada. Pierre Poilievre is trying to import irresponsible American-style gun laws into our country. You can't be serious about being tough on crime if you're not willing to be tough on guns. You can't be serious about stopping intimate partner violence without being serious about gun control. When we know from our own tragic history how often guns are involved. We are taking action, all while respecting the long-standing traditions of hunting and sports shooting and respecting the traditions of Indigenous peoples. If elected, my government will automatically revoke gun licenses for individuals convicted of violence offenses, including intimate partner violence. We will strengthen firearms licensing and the so-called yellow and red flag laws that keep weapons out of the hands of those who are a risk to themselves or others. We will invest in the RCMP's National Forensic Laboratories in Ottawa and Surrey and the Saskatchewan Ballistics Lab to increase our capacity to track down guns used in crimes. We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of assault-style firearms and leave the classification of new firearm models to the RCMP, to the experts, not to the gun industry. No new guns should come into this country before they have been examined and classified by those experts. We must stem the tide of illegal guns and drugs coming.
You got to stop this.
Oh wait, that's it there.
It's just that the reason I'm saying that is I can't keep track of all the lies that he's said.
Yeah.
Because as a legal gun owner in Canada, everything that he said is already in place. Every single thing that he's mentioned is already in place. The RCMP is already in charge of deciding which guns are okay and which guns are not okay, which is why over the past few years, they've literally banned thousands of different guns that have no correlation with violence just because they're black plastic and they look dangerous. That's what their assault style weapons they're referring to. It's a marketing term that does not exist. It's not, you cannot have a military gun in Canada, no matter what. You can't. Even in the US, you can't even have a fully automatic gun that is military style. You can't, it's illegal. So don't give me this shit, like everything that he said, to say that a violent offender, like somebody, like let's say I beat my wife up, I should now lose my guns. It's already the fucking case. If my name as a legal gun owner in Canada is ran in 2 different federal databases every day to make sure that I did not commit a crime that would make me lose my guns. Every fucking day of my life over the past 10 years, my name has been ran in databases to make sure that I did not commit a crime. So everything that he said is bullshit. It's already in place. It's already there. He is basically saying that he said that we need to protect our hunting because that's part of our history, yet bullshit. The best hunting gun on the planet is an AR-15. If my wife and I wanted to hunt, considering she's 120 pounds and I'm 230 pounds, an AR-15 with a collapsible stock is one of the best weapon we can use because we can literally adapt it to me and her while using it independently. So everything that he said is all bullshit. It's all fear-mongering that he's trying to pass as gun safety. Yet, research shows, and just look at the US for this, the more guns are available in the hands of legal gun owner, the more the crime rate goes down. You know the expression, a polite society is an armed society? Because you know that, you go to Alabama, people don't fuck with each other. You know why? Because chances are the guy you're trying to fuck with has a loaded gun on him and knows how to use it. Same thing for Texas, same thing for Arizona, same thing for Florida, same thing for Georgia, same thing for Mississippi, same thing for all the southern states like Virginia, Tennessee. You don't fuck around with people there. Criminals don't do home invasions by the numbers like they do in Toronto, where our police officers are telling people, oh, you know what, guys? There's a lot of armed robberies, home invasions that are going on right now. So maybe your car fob, you should leave it on the outside. So they don't get, like, are you fucking kidding me? But
that was unbelievable.
But this is the type of bullshit that he's passing on. Yet, if more people have guns, the less crime, the less violent crimes are present. And if you look over the past 10 years, especially over the past 5 years, that Trudeau and the Liberals have been removing guns and guns and guns from legal gun owners, the crime rate has been going up and up and up and up. There's a direct correlation between the two. So having, I don't even blame him for saying this because he has nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked this morning on Pierre Poilievre. He hasn't been talking about guns because Pierre Poilievre doesn't have the balls to bring up guns right now because it's a non-mover. It's not going to move the needle in his favor. It's going to alienate people. So even Poilievre is not posting about guns. So Carney is literally grasping at straws like, what the fuck could I talk about that he's going to... He's
big
talking
bad
about
Americans,
something,
big bad
but
Americans.
he hasn't... But you're absolutely right when you said at the beginning that it seems like it's an anti-American sentiment,
that's
all he's going to run on.
Yeah, that's the true thing. Like he'll within that framework, he'll try to find things, guns,
absolutely
lax border, whatever. But yeah, it seems like the underlying thing is anti-American, and I don't like that. I mean,
good for you, man, because I think you're bang on. I think that Carney doesn't have a choice because, and again, it blows my mind that a guy like Pierre Poilievre is not calling this out because technically you're adding another point to his arsenal to just say, hey, what's this hateful behavior towards the U.S.? Mm-hmm. They are our biggest ally. My government will negotiate a new trade deal with them instead of going to a tariff war. Bro, he has so many options to just dismantle him, and he's not taking them. I don't understand.
I would like that. I like that approach too from Poilievre. Obviously he can't be, love Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. He's got to be a little bit adversarial, but you can do it from a position of acknowledging and respecting the history between us and America. Say, 100%. Listen, yes, things are not good right now. Yes, we strongly disagree with what Donald Trump's been doing. However, we've fought in the battlefields with Americans for 200 years. We've shared, blood, sweat, and tears. We're not going to let this, we're not going to let this destroy, but it's probably one of the most unique relationships in geopolitics. So to that end, we will negotiate. We will get a good deal for Canada, but no, we don't hate America. They're our brothers. They're not our enemies. I think that would be a winner.
Hey bro, I gotta run. I just noticed it's 2:30. I have a podcast that I need to appear on.
Oh,
but
shit.
I want to leave you guys with a joke since you pretty much showed the video I wanted to show. So if this video's for you, bro, like I thought it was fucking hilarious. It's 2 seconds. It's literally, I think 5, maybe 10 seconds long. Give me a second here.
All right.
And this is the perfect way to kill this. It is a joke about Christians. I love it. But here you go.
Circumcise a priest. You kick the choir boy in the mouth.
Oh, goodness.
How do you...
Oh, okay.
Oh, you just got it now?
Yeah, I did. I didn't see that. Yeah. How do you circumcise a priest?
You kick the choir boy in the mouth. There you go.
Yeah, I love it. It's hilarious.
There you have it.
But yeah, just obviously we'll end that there. I mean, obviously, me and you don't necessarily have we definitely have some disagreements on gun control policy. However, I think they're valuable tools, and I don't think we need any more restrictions than we have.
It's the lies that bothers me is the fact that, and this is the biggest problem that I see with Canadians, is the fact that the average liberal voter is so uneducated when it comes to guns and already the restrictions that we have in place. Because unless you've owned guns, you have no idea how hard it is to get legal guns in Canada. And he's talking about putting restrictions on illegal guns. But you know the beautiful thing about criminals? They don't follow the law. That's why they're criminals.
They don't give a shit. Exactly.
All you're going to do is put more restrictions on me when we're not the ones buying illegal guns. Criminals are. And there was research that shows that in Canada, a legal gun owner was something like 2 to 3 times more safe, more law-abiding than the average Canadian. So not only is there so many restrictions that almost make it impossible for people to own guns now in Canada, we're the safest type of people in Canada because we're so vetted.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I agree. I don't think we need any more restrictions on guns. I believe they should be regulated. I think it should be somewhat difficult to get, but by no means would I recognize their value. They have use in home defense, hunting. I don't see it as a move. It certainly doesn't move the needle for me. Any talk of whatever Carney's going on with, it's just not a concern for me. With that, I guess we'll cut her short there. Well, not even short. I guess cut her long.
Cut her short. We're 2.5 hours in. What the fuck are you talking about?
We only went half hours. Really short. Really short. We only went half hour over. Actually, if you're one of the regulars here, you know that's actually pretty short. But again, guys, thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be here with us, and we are always going to appreciate that. This show is made for the kind of audience participation that we got today, that we get every single day. And me and Nico, again, we're always banging this drum, but that's because it's true. This show does not exist without you guys. So again, can't thank you enough. Have an excellent weekend, and we will catch you guys on Monday. Peace. Almost had it, literally to the very end before I fucked up.